Hello and welcome to A Merchant's Revenge, a brand new chapter in the Rising Dawn. I'm R, your Dungeon Master for this evening. Very happy to be back in the seat for this series and ready to put the Dawnbringers through their paces once again. Are we ready to go?
Yes, please.
I miss you.
I'm sorry. Are you ready to go?
Can you hold a hand?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Let the adventure begin. We catch up with the Dawnbringers after a few days of tension and turmoil at the Flaming Tiger Carnival, having uncovered the story of a runaway necromancer's apprentice who'd fled from the city of Blackwolf after discovering the true demonic nature of their work, only to end up cursed by a defunct amulet of soul trapping and bring about a series of fatal attacks at the hands of the demons who hunted her. Vanden found himself questioning, after strange dreams of the sun and moon, of a violent fanged creature and of a whole congregation turning on him. Through relentless questioning and trying to work out who they could trust at the carnival, the Dawnbringers found and fought with creatures behind several deaths. A Cambion from the Abyss and his own circus of fiends who planned to take over the carnival and use it to harvest souls as it travelled around the continent.
Cousin.
The party fought relentlessly, even Astra, who landed the final blow on the Cambion with his hellish rebuke. Refusing payment for their help, the Dawnbringers left the remaining members of the carnival to mourn their losses and continued west to the shores of the Shaiste, where they made camp and let out some of their tensions from the past few weeks, screaming into the silence of the lake. Swapping out for a watch, Vanden warned Cassian that he believed his dreams were a sign of something big coming. Cassian reassured him the group would be safer together, but when morning rolled around, there was no sign of him.
You had to say it! Just freaking say it!
Cassian's belongings remained at the camp, but he himself had disappeared. Astra reached out to him with a sending message, only to receive the tang of iron and blood in response, and a distressed, scratchy message in his head. Taken, Sylvette Marion. Cassian. You lay on the hard floor of a covered cart, your body feeling weak and your head swimming, a violent ache thrumming through your skull. Every bump of the road underneath you cracks as though you're feeling it inside your bones. There's a faint smell of gunpowder, an animal, and the sound of something else scratching around inside the space you're in. Through blurry eyes, you can make out the shapes of crates, rope, some light peeking in through a barred window. Your hands are bound behind your back, and you can feel something heavy around one of your ankles. When you try to shift it, it rattles like a chain. You're aware there's blood somewhere, the tang of it tangible in the air. You didn't see who did this. All you can recall is your concentration lapsing and something hard cracking across the back of your head. You have lost 13 hit points.
Ooh! Buddy.
And I'd say you feel the lag in your body of that being like poisonous damage.
Oof. Okay.
After what must be many, many hours on uneven tracks, slipping in and out of consciousness in this state, the cart slows to a stop. You can hear now the distant cry of a flock of gulls, and suddenly there's a different smell to the air, salt water. After a long stretch of silence and stillness, the cart lurches forward again, but instead of unsteady ground, you feel it tilt a little, rolling up the flat of a wooden gangway and onto the hollow sounding of a ship's deck.
Okay.
You can just about raise your head now, enough to catch a glimpse through the barred window of the cart at people outside. You see two large men moving around on the deck, your vision still swimming slightly. You don't feel concussed, but focusing on them is hard. They're followed by a smooth female voice that rings somewhere in your memory. Not quite placeable, not until you see a glimpse of white hair pulled tight into a high ponytail and the dangle of gold earrings studded with rubies. They stop close enough to the cart that you can hear them. You didn't hurt him too much, did you? I doubt we'll get the full ransom if you've roughed up beyond recognition. Of course not. Just a swift knock to the head, little drink of the stuff so we won't fight back. Good. Him and I can have a little chat later, but let's get a way out onto the water first. Sylvette Marion. The memory of her swims in your mind, unforgettable now you've realized it. Before you can do anything else, you hear Astra's sending message crackling into your head asking where you are.
I mean, between lapses of consciousness, can I say that he would have been trying to pry his book off of his belt?
Absolutely.
And at hearing this, like if there's any splinter of wood or like a loose nail, slice his finger behind his back and just start writing.
You can write out your message in response into the middle of your book and hope that it takes.
Taken. Sylvette Marion. And I suppose I can't really get a good angle to look and see if there's any response.
You can't, not from where you're laying. Astra.
Hello.
Having woken up at the camp and everyone frantically looked around for Cassian, sent out a message to him, you hear this scratchy, uncomfortable response in your head in Cassian's voice. You look around your tent seeking confirmation of what you just heard, and Cassian is still nowhere to be seen.
What is it?
Sylvette Marion? Taken Sylvette Marion, that's what he just said.
What?
It was wrong. I can taste blood.
So someone's taken him.
I would like to look around the camp for like signs of struggle or like signs of drag marks or like other footprints or anything like that.
Make an investigation check. 11. You can see like sort of a vague drag mark in the dirt. Doesn't seem clear enough to you to follow it.
So what do we do? We need to find him.
Yeah.
I think Tara's got the right idea. We should probably
Help me look for tracks or something.
Okay.
anywhere in the area.
I will also go and have a wander around, look at stuff.
So you and Vanden's going to as well. Make an investigation check.
16.
Okay. From where Sariel has sort of wandered over to like this disturbance in the leaf litter on the ground, you join her, and a little way away you discover footprints outside of the camp in the tree line, suggesting someone perhaps hiding in the trees. Taking a closer look, using your tracking skills, they're about several hours old now, based on how they've already dried before the morning dew had settled on them. They are leading away to more drag marks, which stop abruptly.
It definitely was this way. It looks like somebody was been watching us.
I'll go and follow Astra.
Can you message him again and say we're coming?
Okay.
We should just get our things and get moving.
Pack everything up real quick. Take all Cassian's things.
I will send another message then to Cassian. Just, Cassian, we're on our way. You're not alone. We will find you.
You just get back like a like a I've heard you response as he tries to shut his book and put it back on his belt.
Yeah, Cassian. As these three scramble to pack up the camp and pursue the footprints, are you doing anything?
God, so there is some sort of like window to peek through, or
Yes, it looks like a cloth facade, like it's not a wooden boxed in cart, and there is a barred window with
Okay.
some light streaming in. You're down on the floor, so probably like 3 or 4 feet below it.
Okay.
And you can see some crates, some rope stuff sort of stacked in here. You can hear some movements in the cart of something that sounds like maybe an animal.
Okay. And my feet aren't bound, but one of them's chained.
Yes.
Okay, so I can sort of scramble to my knees.
You can shuffle up onto your knees,
Okay,
yeah.
shuffle up onto my knees and just see if I can see anything.
Okay, make a perception check.
Perception.
His grace.
Same.
9.
9. Out the window, you can't really see anything. Now you can see from the angle at which you're at, like the halyards on a ship and the sky, which is clearly moving as the boat is moving, like you're moving at speed.
Okay. But it doesn't... I guess the question is, does it look like ocean or does it look like the Shaiste?
You can't tell.
Okay.
It's just sky. Inside, you can sort of, shifting around onto your knees, you can see 2 small cages.
Okay.
One smaller stacked on top of the other. In the top one there are 3 chickens. And in the one below that there is a large black dog.
Friends.
Mean looking dog?
It's sleeping right now.
Okay.
Hard to tell. But it is caged into a metal cage.
Well, chickens. Looks like we're going to be each other's company for a while.
Blood chickens.
The blood chickens. Chickens. He's just going to sit opposite and watch them like they're some form of entertainment. Chickens are funny to look at.
The chickens look back.
You sort of sit there, you can like press yourself up against these like crates. Something to lean on. You're still feeling a little woozy. Are you doing anything else or are you just gonna sit and wait?
If anybody's out there, I'm awake now.
As you call out, there's a loud bang, bang, bang on the side of the cart. Just at the sound of your voice.
Alright. I'll just talk to the chickens then.
Okay. Astra and Sariel and Vanden, you pack up the camp as quickly as you can and you head out to where the footprints and the drag marks ended. And you notice that the footprints now get slightly deeper.
Okay.
Implying that most likely Cassian was picked up and the extra weight pushed the people's feet further into the ground.
Heavy.
If you're looking for anything else, make another investigation check, otherwise make me a survival check to try and track.
I'm going to do survival to try and track.
Survival is better for me.
That's 20. Not natural.
8.
Sariel, you start trying to follow the tracks and Astra's just like, I've got it.
I know what you do it.
As you pursue the tracks for about, say, a quarter mile, weaving through the trees, until you come out of the thick of the forest onto a dirt path, sort of just probably a local road between towns. And here you can see obvious cart tracks.
In the direction it went, or?
I would say with your 20, yeah, you can see where it's rolled to a stop, where it's sat for a while. And then the direction seems to head further down the Shaiste, so you're heading north away from Farrowstadt. This is heading south.
Okay.
And you can pursue.
Yes. This way, it looks like it went this way. They waited here for a little while and then they moved on.
Is this a cart and horses?
It looks like there was one horse at the front.
They're going to be a lot further away than we can get to.
We can catch up. Let's just keep moving as fast as we can.
Yeah. Run.
The 3 of us just move fast. Astra keeping eyes on the ground, tracking these cart tracks. There are a few points where they weave over other tracks, but you're able to determine which ones are fresh, and it seems to be the same, like, slight tread on the wheel that you can pursue until you reach the coastline of the Shaiste. Further down, you reach a sort of a wooden jetty. Doesn't look to be like manned or belong to anyone. There's no hut. It just looks like a simple jetty for people stopping their boats here. That is where the cart stops. You see mud tracks where the wheels have rolled down the jetty itself, and then they're gone.
Oh. Well, shit. Looks like we went on a boat. We've got a boat. We can go.
Yes. Get out the larboard.
Yes. I'm going to reach into the bag and just pull out the bottle, throw it out into the water, and for the lyra bird to just reappear.
Yeah, in that same strange arcane sense, our little tiny ship in a bottle smashes against the water and in incomprehensible ways sort of coalesces into a small schooner right in front of us, bobbing on the water.
Right. Back in the water then.
Vanden just stands at the edge of the jetty and just gestures out at the lake, which is huge. It looks like we're standing at the shore of an ocean. Where from here? I mean, we can just get on the boat and start heading west and hope we see other ships, but they've probably got hours on us, right?
There's something I might be able to try. It depends how far away they are.
Okay.
Well, let's get on and start out into
Okay.
the water, and I'll see if I can pick anything up.
Without hesitation, Megan's just going to hop from the jetty onto the ship, hold her hand out to help the two of you on, and just start hoisting the sails
Yeah.
and giving instruction, because there's a lot less of us now to sail this ship than there used to be.
Yeah, we'll undertake Vanden instructions.
We'll do what can.
We'll just get the wind in the sails and start pushing across the lake, hoping that we see other ships on the way.
Okay, when we're a bit of a way out from the shoreline, Sariel will conjure up a little mote of starlight in her hand and fling it out to cast Locate Object.
Okay.
And we'll concentrate on Cassian's book.
How long does that last, and how far does it reach?
That lasts for 10 minutes and is you can sense the direction to the object's location as long as that object is within 1,000 feet of you.
Say you just keep this up, hoping for the best for now, and the boat just drifts off out into the waters of this huge lake in the center of Caldera, and you're just waiting for any feeling.
Yeah, she'll hold it in her hand and, like, I guess if they come into range of it, it'll sort of go out in that direction.
Cassian.
Hi.
After a few hours on the water,
No.
you hear the cart door being unlocked. It's thrown open. The space fills with a bright sunlight, momentarily blinding you as your eyes adjust to find two silhouetted large figures in the doorway. Out you come, Tyrion. One of them leans in and grabs the chain around your ankle and unlocks it from where it's fixed to the floor of the cart and tugs at it to get you to come along.
Alright. Just stands and follows.
You have to find you shuffle backwards up the wall with your hands tied, and as soon as you're upright, they sort of drag you out onto the deck.
Oh, there's no need to be aggressive, boys.
You are sat down on a crate in the middle of the deck, and one of them sort of puts his heel on the chain that's still dragging on your ankle.
Don't recognise either of these two.
You don't recognise them at all.
Okay. Random goons.
It's like two human men. They're
Yeah.
pretty big. Both look to be over 6 foot, and broad as like
Big boys.
yeah, broad as anything. You're on a small sailing vessel, perhaps a little bit larger than the Lyra bird. You see 7 men out here on the deck, one of which is heavily armoured, as well as the 2 brutes who dragged you out here. And the rest of them all look to be maybe sailors.
Okay.
Around you, you can only see open water and the very distant shores of the Shaiste, with huge hills and blankets of autumnal forest jutting out across the horizon. The air is cold and crisp, the blue sky cloudless, like a brilliant reflection of the crystal waters beneath you. But you are on the Shaiste, not the ocean.
Okay. That's a good start.
At the other end of the ship, the door to the small cabin opens and 2 figures emerge. The first is a human woman with warm tan skin and brown eyes, a tamed mop of sort of reddish brown hair. She wears a hide corset over a floaty peasant-style top, although it's dyed a beautiful peacock blue colour, as is her long skirt, so she must have some money to her name. She wears several string necklaces around her neck, looking cheaper and more homemade, and the braces of an archer. She's silent as she moves to stand across the deck, near the bow, leaning on the railing, watching what's going on, but clearly keeping herself separate from this situation. And then finally, you can see Sylvette in full, following behind her. This woman's around 5'7", very slight, with a few curves and lots of sharp edges. Her hair is white, straight and very, very long, worn all gathered back into a high ponytail, accessorized with gold and ruby drop earrings. The rest of her outfit is simple but classy: black jodhpurs and long boots, a form-fitting red velvet jacket and some fine leather pauldrons and chest armor over the top.
Yes.
It all looks very decorative, but definitely functional. Even when traveling, she keeps her makeup heavy and pristine to accentuate her grey eyes. She carries herself with grace and an air of arrogance, seemingly bored with everything, even this situation, as she looks you over. She's just as you remember her, although perhaps a little more mature.
Okay.
She human?
Yes.
Okay.
Cassian, Tyrion, what a pleasure to see you after so many years.
So many years, yes.
She walks right up to you and just sort of leans down to look you in the eye and then just smiles. I'm sure you know why you're here.
Yes, well, the business with Melissa was a bit messy, wasn't it?
You see something pass over her face for a moment there. Maybe uncertainty? Then she stands up straight again. It's gone instantly. Back to this bored expression. You'll make me a healthy ransom, anyway, when the message reaches your parents about where you are, and I return you safely. Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Let's not be strangers. You have to get comfortable in my company for a little while yet.
Well, I suppose maybe sorry is the place to start.
Looking a little bit confused again, she leans down and puts her hand around your jaw, a little bit uncomfortably tightly. Looks you over. So finely dressed for someone out in the woods. You always did seem a bit stuck up. All the Tyrans. And she'll fluff your hair. Don't worry. I don't plan on hurting you. And she's going to turn around.
This isn't revenge, then?
She stops and turns back towards you. And once again you see consideration passing through her expression as the dots kind of start to add up about the three things you've just said. Hang on.
I may have misspoken.
Uh-oh.
Her arrogant, bored expression drops quickly to one of shock and hurt. And then her face becomes thunderous with anger.
Oh
no. You're the one who ruined my whole fucking life. And she steps up to you again, gets right in your face, grabs your throat. Are you fucking kidding me?
Nero Monty, pleased to meet you.
Her fingers clench around your throat. Yeah, your hair was blonde and your eyes were blue. Yeah, I remember you, Nero Monty. She strikes you across your face with an open palm. You're gonna take another 2 damage, and she slaps you very, very hard.
Boy!
Releases you and steps backwards. Go on. What do you have to say for yourself?
Like I said, I suppose sorry would be the place to start.
Sorry. Sorry. She turns to the man on the ship and sort of gestures theatrically. I'm sure you all know about the person who ruined my life. Here he is, everyone. You know what? I wasn't gonna do anything, but teach him a lesson. Why don't you keep your mouth closed?
I thought that was what this was about!
No! The other woman who's been stood at the front of the ship, observing quietly, sort of pipes up. I thought you weren't planning on hurting him? And so that just... plans have changed.
Well, I suppose it's time
Before you can finish your sentence, a fist cracks you across the face.
Oh no!
Sylvette gestures to the other woman, and they head back towards the cabin. Dawnbringers. You are sailing for quite some time. Your 10 minutes drop. Damn it. Cassian's not within 1,000 feet of you. You think perhaps the only thing you can do is try and keep moving, keep the boat at speed, and try again at some point. The wind whistles across the deck as the ship cuts through the water. The breeze playfully tussles your hair, makes your cheeks pink with the swift wind chill. With the year moving firmly into autumn, the forests surrounding the vast waters of the Shaiste are ablaze with colour. Rusty oranges, mustard yellows, deep reds and vivid golds spilling over the landscape like a wildfire, glinting in the sunlight. The water is a deep azure, swirls of white bubbles teasing at the side of the boat. Now and then, a wave catches the hull and splashes up towards us, a spray of droplets dampening our clothes. Vanden keeps the sails taut and keeps giving instructions every now and then, but with the wind behind us and straight, flat water ahead of us, there's not much else that we can do for now. Is anyone doing anything?
Zara's frustrated that her locate object didn't work. I can send a bird or something, see if I can see any other boats.
I don't even know what kind of boat we're looking for. I mean, it would probably be helpful, but
I suppose any boat.
any ship, and if it's not them, maybe we can ask them.
See if they've seen anything.
The tracks that I found were fresh, so I can't imagine they've got too many hours on us.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this much, he's not taking a bloody watch alone again. He's a bit shit, isn't it, if he got snuck up on?
He said to me just last night when we were swapping watch, we're so much safer together.
Had to see it, didn't he? I'm gonna send a bird.
Yeah.
We will get him back. He'll be fine. We will.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around why.
I don't know.
The opportunity? Just I don't know, somebody on the road. 2,000 gold. Oh yes.
As you say that, man, it's gonna dig out the post-it that's like in his pocket,
Yes.
unfold it, and hold it up.
2,000 gold.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money if you see him just hanging out.
That's like 10 years of income for some people.
There were those people at the carnival who.
Who were watching us on the first night.
Oh yes.
So stupid.
And those tracks did seem like someone was watching us from the woods, so maybe
We were just screaming out into the lake.
we weren't subtle.
No.
Because I didn't think anybody was planning on kidnapping one of us.
I mean, who would? It's not exactly something that happens on the norm.
It's like we're not allowed to enjoy anything.
No. Can't have a good scream. What's the world coming to?
At least if they want the 2,000 gold, it's probably likely that they're not going to kill him. They don't get that if he's not returned safely.
It's true. But still, it's just inconvenient for us. I'm sure.
Yeah, inconvenient.
No, I'm sure he's fine. Even if his message did come through a bit not great.
No, I don't like the way you described that.
Yesterday we were fighting demons. Today Cassian's been kidnapped. I would kill for just a single day of break.
How fast can this thing go?
We need more wind to move it faster. Or, I mean, manipulating the water underneath it.
Well, I can do something, but it might damage the boat.
What's your idea?
I can create a wall of wind.
Okay. If you think it's going to help.
I might. Well, it would be good to know which direction we're meant to be going first, so let me send something to see if I can find any other boats, and then I can make us go a bit faster.
Oh, how about you send a bird one way, I send Bramble the other.
Okay.
We can
Sounds
cover
good to
more
me.
space.
She will conjure a seagull.
Divine.
Just the seagull appears in thin air, face to face with Bramble. Bramble sort of flits around the seagull,
Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitch.
And then you can send them both out in different directions. Both of you make a perception check for your
Advantage
Familiar.
because bird.
advantage because bird.
Please.
Perception's +3 for brambles.
Yeah, what is... I don't have seagull. Owl, that'll do.
Woo! 17 for bramble.
3. Dirty 20 for seagull.
Dirty 20 for seagull. Okay. The seagull flies on ahead, and at this sort of thinner end of the Shaiste, the land sort of juts in and sticks out in different places. You see, probably a couple of miles ahead of you, the mast of another ship.
Okay.
It's the only one you see.
Okay.
Bramble, on the other hand, doesn't see another ship, but as he ducks and weaves and looks around, he catches sight of something in the water.
No!
Starts to see what you think, seeing through Bramble's eyes at first, must be a seal, or maybe a large fish. The shape ducks and weaves and seems to be making its way towards the boat.
Our boat?
Mm-hmm.
This has been a really delightful session so far. I'm...
You're out now.
You're out.
You. Fuck anything in the water? No.
That's what you see?
Okay, I found a boat.
Great.
A couple miles that way. Do you see anything?
I think there's something in the water that seems to be coming our way. Do you want to... Should we...
We can go.
Yes.
Well, we can't go any faster.
We can try and make us faster.
What kind of thing in the water?
I don't know. It looked like a big thing coming our way.
Okay.
Just underneath the water, like bobbing and weaving.
It could be a creature.
Yes, but I don't know what creature. And after all the stories you told me, I'm not keen to find out.
How far away was said big fish?
How far away is Big Fish? God.
Maybe 50 feet?
Oh God! Oh Jesus! It's the fuck
I'll
not.
be here in 6 seconds.
Kind of very close.
Okay. Maybe if you ready that spell? Astra, can Bramble keep an eye on it?
Yes. Bramble, you can keep an eye on it, can't you?
You see through Bramble's eyes again. The spot where it was, it's now 20 feet closer.
I hate water things.
It ducks down and goes beneath the surface of the lake. And then Bramble is scanning around for it. It's gone for maybe 6 seconds. Then it pops up again, just behind the boat.
Can we see it? What is it?
If you let everyone know,
It's here. It's
you can
at the
run
back
over
of
to
the
the
boat.
side. Slowly, it moves around in the waves, which seem to lift and push the boat faster in a way that doesn't quite make sense with the wind.
No.
The shape surfaces, coming up behind the ship. And suddenly you realise you aren't looking at an animal or a fish at all, but instead the watery shape of a woman.
Is it Leah?
No.
Her skin and hair is translucent, giving off a greenish blue hue, shimmering like an iridescent shell on the surface of the water, catching the sunlight. Her eyes are solid silver. Her hair floats about her like seaweed, but somehow all of it is made of water, just like the floating fabric of her barely there dress. She lays on her back and kicks bare feet behind her as naturally as a dolphin's tail, her limbs disappearing and reappearing in the bubbles streaming off the wake of the lyra bird. She smiles an ethereal smile and raises a hand to wave, which doesn't break the surface of the water. You realise you must be looking at some kind of elemental or fey being in the water. You can make a nature check if you want to determine what it is.
Oh, I was just going to wave back.
Rolling so bad today. 7.
7. I'd say you vaguely can guess at a nymph, perhaps.
Wave back.
You see, you don't hear anything, but you see her laugh, and a sort of stream of bubbles come up to the surface of the water. And as she swims, it like pushes the boat forward further.
Thank you.
And then you hear in your heads, hello.
Hello.
Vanden's like stilled at the helm. Glances back over his shoulder in slight fear.
Can you make our boat go faster?
Maybe. I can maybe help you. I can even grant wishes. She floats to the top of the surface and her body crests and sinks again. You see that it's just sort of like almost solid water. You have to give me something though.
Oh. What kind of thing do you want?
She ducks and weaves under the water and comes up alongside the boat instead. As she swims, she keeps time with the vessel, which seems to move even faster as she kicks her feet. What do you need? And I'll tell you what I need.
We need to try and find our friend. Was it on a boat that might have gone past here?
I know every boat that passes here. Maybe... give me... a memory?
A memory?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you some things.
A happy memory.
Okay, I can tell you one of my memories. Why not?
And then it'll be mine.
Will he still have it though? Will he remember it?
No.
It would need to be one you'd be willing to give up.
Oh.
Will you take anything else?
No. As you're thinking it over, this proposition to give up a happy memory to this water nymph, you assume, she stops swimming and just floats there in the water, and the lyra bird just stills.
As the boat comes to a stop, then Astra's just, okay, yes, you can have one of mine.
She pops up out of the water now, and you see almost the same way that you saw Leah outside of Lone Rock. Sort of a watery head and shoulders sticks over the surface. Then she smiles, and you hear in your head again, what's the memory?
I've got plenty to give.
You sure?
Yes, I've got plenty of happy memories. It's fine, we'll make more. Astra's going to remember a time when he was a very small child and lost in the forest in the Ravenni. And then when his father comes and found him, like tracked him down, found him, and just the happiness that he felt at seeing his dad again and like being taken back home. And
You see, like, dribbles of tears down her watery face. And she smiles, and you hear in your head, that was a lovely memory. And you feel it fading out of your mind until it's gone. And you're completely unaware of what it is that you've forgotten. Your friend.
yes,
And then she dives under the water again, and is gone for maybe 30 seconds.
She just left?
You're left just stood there on the boat with the sails up, but the boat not moving at all. And then a rush of water behind the ship just pushes the lyra bird forwards across the lake at twice the speed that it was moving before. It tilts as though the wind has picked up hard, like a storm is coming, and pushes against the sail. And you find yourselves almost flying across the surface of the lake. Vanden's holding on to the rudder, and he's like, I'm not really controlling this.
Okay.
So everybody just hold on.
okay, sure.
And as you glance back over the back of the ship, you just see again her sort of duck and weave over the water, almost like a dolphin, and disappear beneath it. That was, You okay, Astra?
Yes, I'm fine. At least we've got a bit of speed on us now to try and catch up with Cassian.
And I think the ship is taking us in his direction somehow.
She said that she knew every ship that had gone by, so she must have known what we meant when we said our friend was on one.
Strange creatures.
I would still have the seagull up because it lasts for like 3 hours. Are we heading in that same direction?
Yes.
Cool.
Much faster, closing the distance
Nice.
between you and that ship sort of unnaturally speedily. Cassian,
So,
although this ship is moving fast behind you, the ship you are on has quite the head start. And after several hours crossing the water, you've been placed back inside the cart now. Feeling pretty rough. I'd say you're probably at half hit points.
Oh no.
You feel the boat slowing until it makes gentle contact with land.
okay.
There's a throbbing pain across your body now, where Sylvet's guards have laid into you, and you're sure your face must be swollen. There's definitely a split in your lip. Everything is still, except for the footsteps of people outside moving around, until the cart is rolled off the ship once again, bumping over dry and rocky land for a few minutes, until it stops. Outside of it, you can hear the men now setting up a camp. It's not long until you smell meat cooking. Your stomach grumbles. It's been, well, since last night, since you ate anything. And the smell of roasted meat is making it lurch with hunger.
You don't have any grain to share, do you, chickens?
You have noticed in the time that you've been laying here in the ship that the dog is not the friendliest. It sort of has been watching you warily since it woke up, growling occasionally.
Oh, I
like
growl back.
a pool of saliva at the bottom of its cage where it's just drooling at the sight of you.
Cassian's so feral on his own.
Are you doing anything?
Telling the dog to wipe its face. Does it... So if I kind of go peek out that little window again, can I see what's going on, or...
Yeah, make a perception check.
10.
10. You can see that they seem to be pitching 4 large tents. You seem to be in a wooded area now. It's autumn, so the sun is setting a little earlier. So you can't... You'd vaguely guess the time of day is like late afternoon at this point. And they seem to be setting up for the night. You see these 7 men sort of moving around, pitching tents, stoking the fire. And you see another dog outside, patrolling around.
Just sort of call out like, any food for the prisoner? You can rough me up all you like, but you're not getting money for bringing a corpse back.
You see a couple of the guards look over to where you've called out of the cart and just and carry on with what they're doing.
Well, I can just keep talking and it'll be really annoying. I'm gonna look at one of them. Is anyone within 30 feet?
Yeah, there's probably one at the fire within 30 feet of you.
Just kind of peeking around. Maybe make some horrible noises inside his head with telepathy.
You see, he sort of looks around himself. Is he smart enough to guess? Doesn't really determine that coming from your direction. And you see him move towards the tent that's like to the closest side of you and disappear into it.
Okay. We're just gonna stand up inside the cage, walk around, start kicking at crates.
Okay.
Just cause a little bit of a disturbance just to be a shit.
You kick one of the crates and the lid just sort of like pops a little.
Okay.
You're gonna poke around inside it.
Yeah, why not?
Make an investigation check.
Get it. Hell yeah.
It's a natural 20.
Oh my god, okay.
22. Determined to fuck their crates up.
Turn around and like put your hands on the lid of the crate and just lift it up. Comes loose quite easily. Turning back around, you can see immediately that there's a barrel in here. It's giving off the smell of gunpowder.
Okay.
You can see the muzzles of several muskets.
Oh.
And maybe 30 short swords.
Okay.
All sort of neatly wrapped. You can see like the hilts of them.
Okay.
You sort of move up to the next crate and just as easily push the lid off to see what's going on. You can see 15 sets of leather armor that give off an arcane hum.
Oh.
And also in here is a scroll case.
I'm gonna pick that up.
You can sort of reach in awkwardly backwards and pick up the scroll case. Just like a
Sluzzily.
red leather scroll case with like a pop-off lid.
Okay. And just kind of like see if I can like tuck it in the inside of the thick leather belt that he has.
Okay, yeah, I think
He has, I assume, like, he wouldn't have had a sword on him, but he always has a dagger around the back. I assume they would have taken that off him.
Yeah.
So he just tries to slot it into the place where the dagger would go?
I'd say you can, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
And as you're kicking all of these things around, you also sort of shift them slightly, and with that, seeing as it's a 20, looking down at the floor of the cart, you also see a number of arcane sigils carved into the wooden like floor.
Oh.
Okay. Just for funsies then. Like, hands behind my back, just do the components, disguise self, because it cost me nothing.
What kind of spell is disguise self?
It is, I believe it's just a first level spell.
No, as in like what school of magic?
School of Magic.
Oh. Illusion in it?
It is illusion, yes.
You easily disguise self.
Okay.
That's concerning.
Dismiss it. Stand somewhere in the cart where there's like not too much crowded around me. Sword burst is conjuration.
Fails.
Okay. Interesting. Evocation cantrip. Dancing lights.
Dancing lights works fine.
Huh. Okay. Good to know. And then just sort of keep pottering around. Can't look at the scroll because I can't get my hands around the front.
Okay.
Just add mystery scroll to my inventory.
As you wander around, eventually there's a quiet knock knock on the rear of the cart. It's not just wrenched open like it was earlier with the guards.
Well, come in.
Very quietly unlatched and opened just a little. And you see peering around the door the brown-haired woman in like the fancy blue top and skirt. And she sort of peeks in. When she sees that you're not immediately like running at the door to attack her or anything, opens it the rest of the way, and she's holding a tin plate of food.
Oh, great, thank you.
Here.
I suppose I will just put my face in it.
Oh, she looks around and climbs up into the cart and is like, can I?
Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, you have to eat somehow.
I suppose. I'll just turn around, give her my hands.
She just unties your hands.
Thank you. Not going to get another visit from a hostess, are we?
Don't know, I just thought you should probably eat something.
I agree.
Are you okay?
Why does that matter to you?
Well,
I feel like shit, but multiple reasons for that.
just, you know, don't want to see you get beat up and, well, I'm just trying to make sure you don't starve is all.
Because you want the money.
No, because I don't want to see someone die.
Well, good for you. Pretty sure the reward on my head's the only thing keeping me alive at this point.
Oh, I suppose probably. She does get like that when she's really angry.
Should have kept my stupid mouth shut.
You couldn't have known, and neither could she. You get the impression that she's like towing the line between agreeing whether what they've done is acceptable or not, but also towing the line whether she's like angry on Sylvette's behalf, like sort of trying to smooth things over here. But before conversation can really get any further, you hear, Ingrid! She's just like, I'm in here. And the door will be pulled all the way open. You see Sylvette just standing in it, like arms folded across her chest, looks over this tableau of Cassian eating, and it's like, what's this about? And the woman you now know to be called Ingrid is like, I'm just making sure he doesn't starve. We still want the reward money for finding him and returning him safely, right?
If I look too brutalized, I'm sure they'll just knock off money.
Sylvette, who looked like she was starting to soften a little bit listening to Ingrid, then just fixes you with a very, very annoyed look.
You know what my mother's like, she won't take damaged goods.
She clenches her jaw. Just go get something to eat, Ingrid, and leave us. And she's just like, okay. Slips out of the back of the cart. Sylvette looks at you as you eat.
Is the bowl metal?
Yes.
Can I like touch my reflection a little bit in it and see how...
It's like sort of that grey
That grey metal. I can't see how beat up my face is.
Sylvette would just sort of sit herself down at the back of the cart in the doorway with like one leg up on the cart and the other one on the ground, and just reach down to her belt and pull a knife out and just fiddle with it.
I'm gonna sit down on one of the crates that I would have recovered while I was
I
popping
assume
around.
so. You better not try and win her over.
No, she came to me.
Yeah, well, you try and sweet talk her, it isn't going to work.
And what can I say? I'm very charming. What I want to be.
If you cause us any trouble, believe me, I'm willing to do far worse things to you than what the guards already did, considering what you did to me.
An eye for an eye.
Or maybe... And she leans forward towards you. Maybe a physical scar for an emotional scar.
Right.
You know how much pain you caused me? How much trouble?
Well, to be honest, Sylvette, I don't really know what happened afterwards. I didn't know that you were the visiting merchant that my mother was dealing with the day after. You have to understand that. So when she told me all about it, I felt a bit awkward, really, but...
But... She stands up and comes further into the cart to be face to face with you again. But...
I've changed since those days, and... Listen, I know I'm being very standoffish with you. You have me kidnapped. But
It's quite the attitude, yes.
I know what I did was wrong.
What's your fucking tone? She's gonna grab your jaw again and bring the knife up to it. You really are just a total brat, aren't you? And just press the blade against your face. You gonna say sorry, Sylvette?
I'm sorry, Sylvette.
You don't sound it. And she pushes it in a little bit. You can feel it breaking the skin.
You don't want me to say I'm sorry.
No, I want my...
You want me to say, ha ha ha, it was great and I do it again. Because you want an excuse to kill me, right here, right now.
She drags it down your face. I want to know why.
Why? Because it was easy. It was...
For what end? What did you get out of ruining my life?
I have so much life ahead of me. I was in a state where everything was endless and miserable, and if I could
And you
make
just-
someone else miserable, then I would be happy.
Wow. What a reason.
Yeah.
You know, we're not all gonna get hundreds and hundreds of years to do our life right. And she just slams the knife into your shoulder and leaves it there. You know what? You know what? I just want you to suffer for doing this for as long as possible. I was saving this for someone else, but I think it's only right to give it to you. She reaches into a pouch on her belt and pulls out a small needle. And then she grabs a fistful of your hair and pushes your head back against the wall and holds the needle to your throat. And you just feel a strange burning sensation spreading across your skin.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like she has a hand wrapped around your throat and it grips there. And it takes you a moment to realize she's completely moved away from you. Even as she backs away, feels like you just have something gripping at your neck.
What is this?
A gift. She pull the knife out again.
Stumbles to his knees.
Bad. Put it back in. Put it back in.
Leans out of the cart. Mikhail, can you patch up a wound? And then steps out of the cart. It's a few moments of you kneeling on the floor, feeling this excruciating pain through your shoulder, before the armoured figure you saw on the ship comes up and pokes his head in and is like,
How many more hit points is that?
that would have been 8 more hit points. However, he reaches in and puts his hand over the wound, and you feel a channeling of divine magic into your shoulder as it just closes up and stops bleeding. You will get 4 hit points back. Yay!
Anything I can get.
And from that, he'll just sort of like
Thank you.
lightly pat you on the other shoulder.
Don't.
And then move away and close the door. And you don't quite hear what's said, but you hear Sylvette, and then like a muffled sort of angry exchange outside of the cart. Dawnbringers.
Hello.
You pursue the ship for quite some time until it sort of comes within range for you to catch sight of it, and then the magic that is pushing you along just ceases. And Vanden, slightly relieved, is like, we don't want to just approach alongside it. We're not equipped to deal with this situation yet. Let's just keep track of it for now.
We'll just follow.
Yeah. You pursue the ship at a distance, Vanden trying to keep a course, like kind of away from it, not looking like we're just following, until you see it turn in towards the shore. And from where you are, you can watch it dock, watch the cart roll off of it, and like several figures silhouetted in the dying light move onto the shore and start moving inland. You see one silhouetted figure left on the shore, and then you see something very odd and familiar as the ship coalesces in on itself and disappears into a small bottle.
Oh no.
Copycats.
No, but it's like people from the Smuggling Ring. Oh no. Oh god, no. People from Turkwad.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I didn't think about that shit.
Watching from a distance, Vanden's like, we should try and find a spot slightly further up the coastline.
Agreed.
Especially if they know what this ship does.
Yes. I mean, we've already painted.
Is there,
Yeah.
Is there anyone still on the shore, like looking out, or are they all like
Whoever
vanished?
this figure was putting the boat away
Okay.
turns and pursues the rest.
Okay. Oh no.
You sail slightly further up the coastline, maybe a quarter mile to be safe, and find a small cove cutting into the landscape. A line of fir trees here along the pebble beach sort of block the worst of the wind. And you bring it up as close as you can. Where this is like just pebbles heading down into the water, Vanden can't even quite get the lyra bird right up to dry land, so you have to hop out to your knees in the water itself and fetch your own little bottle from the inside of the ship and do the same. You can feel your heartbeat sort of thrumming in your chest as you have no idea what you're about to face. You move up onto the beach and stones crunch underfoot. You're aware of every little sound. The evergreen trees sort of whistle as the wind blows through them. There's a chill in the air. The hoot of a bird sets your nerves on edge. You can smell the scents of the pine trees and the fir trees. You imagine this would be almost a nice area if you weren't anticipating whatever you're going to find. And then there's a waft of wood smoke from what must be a camp further back down the tree line. And if you peer through it, as the light sort of lowers and lowers, you can see a flicker of a large campfire. So they've stopped for the night.
Do we think that's where it is?
If that was the boat, then yeah.
If we inch forward, trying to be stealthy about it, can we see like how many people there are and what the situation is?
To start with, make me a stealth check. So you start moving a sort of quarter mile back towards that direction.
Oh my god!
Ooh, 21.
4. And
I'm in my natural habitat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you're moving relatively quietly. Sariel, you feel like a small branch snap underfoot and still for a moment. But you are out in the wilderness. And you get closer to the camp. It doesn't look like anyone has paid attention to the sound of a twig snapping in the distance. As you get closer, you can see the silhouettes of 4 large tents, larger than you were expecting them to be, pitched around a roaring fire, as well as a covered cart with like a tarpaulin pulled over it. Move up to the tree line and sort of position yourselves behind some of the trees. Make a perception check.
24.
13.
It's a 28 for Vanden.
Looking.
I guess we see everything.
Nice.
So, Astra, you can see at least 5 men, 3 of whom are sat around a campfire, and 2 more who are moving around the camp. You also spot that the cart has a barred window. One of the men sat by the fire looks to be wearing heavy armour and is polishing a broadsword. You see the shape of 2 more men who are moving around the outskirts of the camp, sort of separate from each other, like one at either end.
Yeah.
And they look larger and better armoured than most of the ones sitting around the campfire. They're clearly armed, most likely taking a watch. Sariel, as you look on at this, you start to realise you recognise them as the 2 men who were in the tent at the carnival. They weren't armoured before, but they were definitely the guys pointing in the Dawnbringers direction. Sariel and Vanden will hear the movement of something smaller and faster than the patrolling guards, and after a moment you see a large dog sort of moving between the tents, sniffing around at the ground. The 2 patrolling guards seem to be moving on a rotation in where they'll kind of go about 15 foot and stop, watch the forest, and keep moving around, like they're keeping a permanent sort of perimeter on the camp. And in the firelight, you can see the silhouettes of 2 smaller people inside the closest tent to the cart itself. They're talking, voices muffled at a distance. But where you are, kind of relatively close to that tent, you think you overhear, is he going to be okay in the cart? Why would I care if he's okay? All that matters is that he pays for what he did. You stop, all sort of steadying your breathing, waiting. And then Vanden gestures for us to back a little further into the tree line again so we can talk.
It's the men from the carnival. The ones who were watching us.
I counted 7 and 2 in a tent.
They're doing some sort of rotation around the camp.
I didn't see Cassian, but there was that covered cart and then there's all those tents. It could be in any of those.
We can only assume that he's here, right?
Some people were talking in one of the tents. It sounds like they were talking about keeping someone in the cart, so...
Either way, Cassian and us, then we should help. If these are a part of the smuggling ring, then whoever they've got in the cart can't be there for good reasons.
Could Bramble take a look?
Yes? Bramble can definitely go have a look.
Yes, he can turn invisible.
Yes. Okay, you can do that, can't you, buddy? If he goes, turn invisible eyes away, and he'll go head into the cart.
Okay. Bramble turns invisible, flies silently towards the back of the cart. He can see a wooden door with another like small sort of barred window to look through. What looks like a heavy padlock on the outside. And peering in through the cage bars, can see Cassian sat on a crate with a plate of food. Cassian looks rough. He is littered with bruises, dark purple against his skin. There's a raw cut above one swollen eye, and an even deeper, sharper one running down the side of his jaw. Blood patches at his clothing, especially around his shoulder, although more than anything he looks extremely weakened. And it's impossible to miss a strange mark around his neck, dark red, like 3 prongs coming down from under his chin, and a stroke through them that encircles his throat. It throbs with arcane energy.
His eyes are red and puffy like he'd been crying.
Buddy!
Not sad tears.
Okay. On Astra's word, Bramble is going to sneak in past the bars and just invisibly come and sit on the not injured shoulder and nuzzle face.
Immediately looks around like, who let the chickens escape? Bramble.
Nuzzle, nuzzle.
Kind of reach up and give a little scratch. They're close by. Kind of boops his head against where he assumes the invisible head is.
Lick.
No.
Thank you. You can't tell them anything, but if you can, try and communicate that these people don't need to get hurt.
Astra, you hear this through Rebel sensors.
What's happening?
One of them was quite nice to me, actually. Like, don't hurt the lady in the blue dress. She's cool. To you too.
Okay, well Cassian is in that cart.
Great.
And he said to Bramble not to hurt anybody, but when there's apparently a woman in a nice dress.
Is he okay?
No.
We need to get him out.
Yes.
We need to get him out as quickly as possible, but... Well, there's 9 of them and 3 of us. So I'm not anticipating fighting being our best option here.
If I can get a bit closer, I can probably really throw them off.
With what?
Well, I can make an earthquake. Just a small one in their area.
That is a possibility. Although...
They wouldn't think it was a person making the earth tremor.
No, but they might, I don't know, pack and try and run straight away.
Maybe. It might give us an opportunity.
Okay. Has anyone else got an idea? Just we'll think of all the ideas first and then decide what the plan is.
Well, I mean, if we can distract them enough, we can have someone distract and then someone else try and break him out.
No. Oh my god, do I still have that? I should still have it.
What are you gonna do?
I still have the Black Rose potion. which makes you able to see
In magical darkness.
which I can cast as Astra.
Oh.
How big of an area?
So it's range 60 foot, area 15 foot, 10 minutes of magical darkness, and 15 foot sphere.
That wouldn't cover that much of the map.
Let's have a look how much. 15 foot.
It's
It's just
3 squares
three.
out.
It could cover the cart, but the people wouldn't immediately know something was happening.
Yeah. Or like go for the campfire. I'm not here. I shouldn't say things.
Okay, so I can make magical darkness,
Okay.
and I've got that potion that means I'll be able to see in it. Not a big area, but it might be enough to cover the back of the cart and get him out.
Do you think you'll be able to break the locks?
I mean,
We've got that thing we
We've got the
found in
chime.
Lone Rock, but I think
Yes.
it's noisy. We'd have to be smart and quick about it.
Okay.
We could try and lure them away from the camp. If they're just going to check something out in the woods, I don't imagine they'd take the cart with them.
that's true. I forgot.
I have the wand.
Which wand?
The wand that the ringmaster was using to make his voice, to throw his voice.
You do? We
Okay.
can definitely do that.
I can throw it 100 feet away if I want to.
So what I was going to say as well about getting Cassian out is I might not need to break the lock.
Oh.
I might be able to make him small enough to get through the bars.
What?
God's sake.
What?
Well, I might be able to make him small.
Small enough to fit through the bars?
Yes. Bramble was small enough to fit through them.
I suppose. I mean, I'm not dismissing it. I'm just confused.
I can make him small.
Okay.
How small?
How small?
It's like
Half.
so it would be like a halfling
Halfling.
size,
Mhm.
and
That still wouldn't fit
no.
through the bars.
Or you could make him very big so he breaks through.
Or just a giant Cassian.
So I can make him really big, so he might break out, or I could do it to the lock instead. I could make the lock really small so they would have to break through the...
You still need to undo the lock though.
Well, no, because if it was really small, then it would probably break because it wouldn't be able to hold on to the latch anymore.
Just hold it even tighter.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I just want to make someone really big.
All I want to do is see you turn into a giant Cassian. Giant Cassian.
I can turn into something and chase them all away.
Saber-tooth tiger.
Tiger.
I mean, yes.
But then there's the
Chance of
distinct
decisive.
possibility they're just going to turn on you and attack.
I can handle them.
You can lead them into the woods at least and then turn into something else. And just disappear. I can turn into 4 of me and really fuck them up. Just throw them off.
I think the best thing to do is going to be to use the charm on the lock of the car. And to do that, we're going to have to lure them away so that they don't immediately run to it.
So if we do what Sariel just suggested, if you lure them away by being a big scary saber tooth,
Or use the wand.
or
Either
use
way.
the wand.
Or both.
I can be either something that will chase them away or something that might tempt them, like a deer or something that they can cook for dinner.
They are already cooking. You can
Okay, they
see
are already
and smell that they're cooking something.
Okay.
Well, I can be something to chase them away.
The only other thing I can think of is I can try and get close enough to the cart and just teleport with the ring.
What, into it?
No, teleport Cassian out of it.
Oh.
Well, that's an idea.
Can you do that without touching?
Or maybe he can Misty Step out of it.
Well, why hasn't he?
Mm.
Must be something going on. He looks pretty rough, so... And he's got a weird mark on his throat.
What kind of mark?
That's probably important.
Thanks, Astra.
Well, we moved on. I said he looked rough. I don't know, it looks like 3 red spikes and one going across.
Do I know what that is?
I'm making an Arcana check.
Go for the shiny
All of
one.
you have been awful.
Go for the shiny one.
Wolf dice. Shiny dice. Shiny dice.
First roll of the shiny dice. Arcana +6.
21.
21. Okay, I'll give it to you then. I would say that you would know, for relatively uncomfortable reasons, that a spell-wrought tattoo is a tattoo that can be applied arcanely and has certain effects until a condition is met. A 3-pronged mark with a circle around the throat is the mark of a prisoner.
That's a prisoner mark. Like, it's there until a condition is met.
Okay. Then we need to figure out what that is, I suppose.
So if we...
We can't really just pull them out and...
The thing is, we can't attack them because it may not end up fulfilling the condition.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Cassian said there was a person in a blue dress that seemed nice. Maybe she'll give us some information if we can find her.
She must be one of the people in the tent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what are we doing?
Gosh, so many plans.
Okay. We open the lock with the charm, with the chime. We make a sound at the shore to try and lure them away from the camp, and you be ready to scare them off as a creature. I mean, we just need to get Cassian out of that cart, right?
Or even just cause enough distraction so they don't notice him or don't pay attention to him.
If you use the chime at the same time and make the noise, they might not even hear it.
What's the noise going to be?
Good question.
I suppose if you do turn into a saber-tooth, just a roar, though. The creature was loud enough when we...
I can hold the wand to your throat and you can roar.
I can do that.
Okay.
Is Bramble still with Cassian?
Yeah.
He's just getting snuggled.
Oh, sorry.
Hold like kitty baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that means we still have to sneak up to the cart with the chime and not be seen by the guards on patrol.
Okay.
Ding.
I can definitely try.
I think that's a plan. Plan B,
Oh,
if they spot us.
If you're able to grab onto his hand through the bars or something, you can teleport him.
Yes. Okay. In which case, I mean, I don't think either of them are attunement. We can swap the chime and the wand if you want to stay with Sariel.
Sure.
And
Which one of us has the better stealth? I think
what have you got?
2.
2. So either way.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe Bramble could be ready to try and whatever it is he does that confuses people
You can try.
on the nearest guard if they spot us.
Sure.
Just anyone who gets close to the
cart.
cart. Just anyone who gets close to the cart.
I'll use my telepathic link with the familiar to, like,
Instruct him.
instruct Bramble, who will stop purring in your arms and just nuzzle your face again and flitter out the window.
Okay. We can just hope it works.
We can try.
As Bramble flitters out the window, Cassian says, "Don't tell Astra about this."
As if Astra doesn't already know.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to do is get Cassian out and then we just flee, okay? Not engage?
Don't engage.
Don't engage.
We'll meet up.
Okay. Do you want to sneak to the cart or shall I?
I mean, like you said, you can teleport.
Then I will go. We'll swap the wand and the chime.
We'll turn to Sariel holding this little wand.
Okay, we'll back up so we're not in view because
Behind
it's
the
gonna be
tree.
big.
Do either of you have a message?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, in which case, I'd say the plan would be to message Vanden when the go time is,
Yeah.
so we don't get these two sounds
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of sync. Vanden will take a deep breath, start sneaking.
Guidance.
Thank you, sneaking towards the cart.
Had a D4.
Oh god.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Vanden moves quietly and very slowly towards the back of the cart. He takes out the chime moves up to the lock and peers into the back window. Just sort of taps his finger on the wood. And he's just gonna reach in for your hand.
Creep forward and take it. Squeezes very tight.
As you do, the chain rattles on the floor. Vanden's eyes widen a little bit and he's like, okay. Just sort of shows you the chime. And then waits for the signal from Astra.
Okay.
You will get the message in your head. Why don't you just teleport now? Rather than trying to unlock the... I mean, you might as well.
Tucks the chime in his belt and gestures to the ring, the teleportation ring, and looks back into the tree line. It's like, sort of nods, you think yes? And casts teleport. Vanden disappears in a flash. Cassian, you feel yourself starting to teleport and then his hands slip through yours and the runes on the floor of the cart flare up. And you're still left standing there. Vanden appears back with you, like...
What happened?
Oh, he just... I don't know, something, he just didn't come with me.
Maybe that's why he can't teleport himself.
The guard behind the tent starts to come round, having heard the, like, inside the cart. Starts to come around the back of the tent, towards Bramble.
You follow your breath.
Follow your breath?
It's what Bramble was waiting for.
Bramble's big moment.
Go on, Bramble.
Where are you? You follow your breath. There it is.
What kind of saves do you need to make?
It is a DC 11 wisdoms.
That's an 8!
Yeah! Oh, no. Roll a d6 for me then, please.
Oh my god. 1.
Takes no action or bonus action, uses all its movement to move in a random direction.
Let me determine a random direction.
Oh god.
Into the tent.
Straight forwards into Astra.
He just goes off the map into the woods.
Goodbye.
Into the woods.
Just goes 30 feet straight away into the woods.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Good job, Bramble. We've got the time to get back now.
This guy moves forwards. I'll say the dog has probably wandered a bit now.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has gone into a tent, and this guy has gone over this way.
Okay, well, sorry about that. I kind of messed it up, didn't I, by making you do it before you got him out.
It's okay.
You can get back there now.
Yeah, I just can't teleport again.
Oh.
It's okay. It was worth trying.
Works.
Okay. Take 2.
Sorry.
It's worth a try.
Okay. He creeps back over there. Back up to the back of the cart. He's like, sorry. I didn't know.
And then, were you turning or?
I guess so. Like, if we can try and get a bit closer. So, like, there, maybe? Just, like...
Make a stealth check.
9 stealth. Natural 20, so 21.
Okay. You see the guard on the far side of the camp move in a little, and some of the guys at the campfire are like, everything alright? It's like, thought I heard something. And he's just looking around, but he just stops and he's staring in your direction, but he doesn't seem to see you.
Okay. Then I will hold the wand towards Sariel when Sariel turns into a...
Okay, she will turn into a saber-toothed tiger!
Yes, bitch.
Sariel, you see this familiar morphing as Sariel turns into this huge hulking tiger.
So, are you aware that you are a cat? So I'll press the thing against your throat and then just messaging you at the same time, just, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Allow this huge tiger roar!
You let out a huge roar. Astra, are you, with the wand, using it to put the roar in a different place, or are you using it to make a 200-foot boom of this roar?
Different place over in the far corner.
Okay.
Could be up to 100 feet.
At the same time as this roar sounds from the back corner of the camp, like completely away from where you are, Vanden uses the chime of opening to strike the metal door on the back of the cart, which is somewhat covered by the roar. Okay, somewhat. All the men at the camp turn around in absolute fear. This one comes running out of his tent, as do the two women from the other tent come running out to the sound, and you hear, what's happening? What was that? What was that? And the guard is like, I don't know. You see the men starting to raise their weapons like in that direction as the guard starts to edge forward towards the roar.
Am I chained to something, or do I just have something heavy?
You have, it's like chained to a heavy metal ball.
I'm just gonna like start reaching for the chime and pointing towards the chain.
Vanden pulling off the lock and like quietly discarding it on the floor. Sort of looks at the chain and is like, we're just gonna have to run, aren't we?
I think I can make a distraction.
This is gonna be loud. They're all gonna hear us.
I can make something very loud.
On 3 then. 3, 2, 1.
Major image.
Oh! At the same time, Vanden hits the chime again against the lock around your ankle and it just falls off.
Coming out of the direction, like above and over the tree line, baby dragon. Roaring and spewing smoke.
As this happened, you two see this as well with
No context.
no context that it's an illusion. As this dragon just flies over the tree line from the direction of your roar,
I think you just summoned one.
spewing smoke out, and you see the men in the camp start to scream. You see one of them, like the one in the full armor who was sat by the fire, being like, Silver, let's go! Sort of back down towards the waterline, and the two women and that man just start running.
Okay.
At the same time, Vanden is pulling you out of the cart and sort of like putting his arm around you to support you, moving you back the other way towards the others.
Hobbling as best as he can.
And come around to the tree line and see you. It doesn't matter anymore about stealth, you can see these people just running everywhere in panic. Is it still up?
It will be up as long as I'm within 120 feet of it.
Nice. So it's just flying around spewing smoke? Okay.
We're running back to the tree line then.
Yeah. As you're running, you see Vanden behind with Cassian, one arm around him, just like half speed hobbling after.
Yeah, making sure it's making as much noise as possible. Just
Well, as you guys are running towards us, then I will run up to you to start helping with Cassian. Just, we've got you. And then you're going to get healing, so don't worry, I just slapped you.
Vanden's like, that was Cassian, by the way.
Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh wait, I need to roll 4 d8s, not d4s.
Ooh!
Oh! Disgusting. How dare you roll d4s at me?
So cure wounds, 4th level for you. Oh, nicey. 10, 16, 20, 18, 19 hit points.
Nice.
Damn, Daniel.
So as soon as Astra like wraps an arm around you to help you just get hit points back.
Thank you. He picks up running, but appreciates the support. And then once we're a decent amount away, we'll just wave his hand and all the bellowing will stop.
You get away into the tree line and you just keep moving until you get maybe 300 foot from the camp, and you know you're far enough that you can't be seen or heard without someone coming looking for you. And he just sort of stops, leans against a tree and is like, I can't believe that worked.
As we stop, Astra's going to turn around and start covering our tracks from where we came from.
Okay.
And use like the training that he would have got.
Yeah, survival training.
Yeah, survival training to just cover tracks where we came from and completely morph like any tracks that we've left.
You turn and you all look at Cassian, and you can see now, even with a little magical healing, how rough he looks. His swollen eye, this deep cut down his jaw, there's blood on his shoulder, and all in all just like drawn into himself in pain.
He's quietly cursing to himself in Miratail's dialect of common.
Sarah will just rub her tiger self against him.
Good kitty.
Are you okay?
No.
Stupid question. Is there anything lasting damage that you think needs immediate attention?
He just taps at his shoulder. She got me pretty deep.
Vanden will just put his hand against it and channel some more divine magic into it, and you feel the sort of the burn of the stab wound ease off as you get 7 hit points back.
Thank you.
Sarah will first off make sure they are not being followed.
Make a perception check.
Keen smell, tiger sense.
Nice.
Perception. This one. Oh my god!
Save your dice.
10.
10. I would say with that you can not smell any person following you. I mean, there's not anyone close enough to smell besides the group of you. You could smell the tang of blood on Cassian through your keen animal senses, like it's pouring out of your own nose.
Licky licky. And then there's whatever this is.
Sariel said from the description, is this what you thought it was?
She'll lose the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
You look up at it.
It shows his bruised ass neck.
Definitely, there are bruises there from his neck being grabbed as well, but it's definitely a prisoner mark spell wrought tattoo.
How did they do this to you?
She put a needle to my throat. Felt like she was squeezing me.
Does it still feel like that?
Still feels like that. It doesn't feel tight now, just like the presence of something holding your throat.
Just like someone's holding on to me.
There's conditions that you need to fulfill before you can get rid of it. There's no other way.
Grand.
What happened? Who are they?
Me and my big fat mouth.
What? There's time to tell us. We should get somewhere safe to camp.
We should keep moving.
Okay. The 4 of you can just turn from where you are and start making your way down the shoreline now, looking for a camp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good morning. It's time for the most critical meal of the day. Don't forget your daily dose of vitamin D and D. Nice.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling overwhelmed. Hey, clown. Chester, you have done it again.
Dungeons and Dragons group superlatives. Most likely to get the final kill. Most likely to have the brain sail.
Seatbelts, everyone!
The group baby. Most likely to lore drop at any given moment. Most likely to roll the best. Most likely to roll the worst. Most likely to be late to their own wedding. Most likely to be caught sleeping on the job. Best dress. Drama queen.
Prima donna girl, yeah.
The one with trauma.
Repeat after me. Okay, if it's not perfect, on the first try, it's a learning opportunity, and I get to try again. It's trash, I'm trash, and I am never trying that again. No! Where did you get that? Probably somewhere in my childhood, I don't know. Okay, listen, try again. Okay, if I try my best but don't succeed, it's okay to try again. I'm a fraud who doesn't deserve the very air that I breathe. No.
The four of you can just turn from where you are and start making your way down the shoreline now, looking for a camp. Astra, would you like to make a survival check to find a camp?
Yes.
Please.
Please.
I would not. 8.
Can I assist him?
You can.
Survival.
Better. 22.
Nice.
Okay. After a short while of searching, you come across a gully between two outcroppings of the forest floor, maybe 7 to 8 foot in depth. A huge fallen tree sort of crosses the top of it like a bridge, which makes decent enough shelter underneath it in the gully itself. It would stop rain and stop people from immediately seeing you if they're walking past. You can kind of gently help each other climb down there. There's a small stream of bubbles running through it, just like a really, really thin stream of fresh water, trailing down in the direction that the party came from, presumably heading back towards the lake. Ground's a little rough, but it'll do. Let's get a fire going.
We'll do that. Start making it habitable for us.
Do you want me to make my hut now, so that you can make the fire without the light really escaping it?
That's a good idea.
Okay, everyone get in then. Astra will sit down and do a little ritual with the crystal bead that'll float up and create the large dome around them.
Okay. The tiny hut coalesces in the air and then nearly vanishes, disguised with the landscape. You can get a fire going inside it. It warms up quickly. You have light. Everyone can sit, lay out bedrolls, get Cassian somewhere comfortable to sit himself down.
Squidge in on himself.
We realised those were the people who were watching us the first night of the carnival that Sariel and I saw.
Oh. I suppose that makes sense. Strange coincidence to just be grabbed out of nowhere.
So what happened?
That fortune teller was right about me. I'm just rotten.
What? I mean, we assumed you'd been kidnapped for ransom or something, considering the ridiculous reward in your missing poster.
That's what they were doing. As I recognised the woman from back in Meritale.
So that Marion.
From a few years ago.
The one in the blue dress you told Bramble about?
No. He'll give a basic description of her just in case we run into her again.
And the description does match the woman at the carnival who was facing away from us with the long white high ponytail.
What happened in Meritale?
He just sort of puts his face in his hands for a little bit, like trying to find the words. Just I've been thinking about this since, well, Shadeborn really. Never known how to talk about it. Always said the right time would come, but kept putting it off. Where do you even start? I used to trade in information in Myrtale. Casually. Not really anything too nefarious, I suppose. Just sometimes people would pay for gossip. You never know what you can say about someone that might knock them down a peg or two or raise them up. But sometimes I went a little too far. I met Silhouette Marion at a party a number of years ago, visiting from the Shaiste. I was in disguise at the time. Used to go by Nero Monti, named after one of my uncles. And her and Nero hit it off very well, but she let slip that she was cheating on her wife. And I spread it around with a number of other things that perhaps weren't as truthful. Little did I know that the reason she was in Myrtale was to do business with my mother. And after hearing such rumours, my mother cut her out of the deal. I can only assume that her wife split up with her afterwards as well. From the sound of it, she was pretty beaten up after all of that. She wasn't the only person I did such things to. It was entertainment for someone jaded and unhappy with his own life. And I can't excuse any of my own actions, but now I know they were wrong. I just want to be better. Fuck. Fuck me, I thought I could just do better and... Shit. You were right, you have to acknowledge
The person that you used to be.
I don't like him.
It's a good thing that you don't like him. I don't think any of us would have much liked him either. But if I'm honest, how very Myrtale of you.
How very Myrtale of me. Fucking with people for fun.
Oh look, we're gonna get you out of this situation.
Of course we are.
You really don't have to help me.
Cassian, I know that you should acknowledge who you were, but at the same time, you're still our friend now. We're not just going to leave you to it. I said to you when we were coming to get you that you're not alone, and I stand by that. You're not the same person that would mess with people for fun. You're allowed to change.
I want to.
You already are.
Mm.
You're not the same person that we met back in Farrelstead a couple of months ago either.
No.
I didn't like that person.
I could tell.
But that's it. You are changing, and we can see that already.
I can understand how this woman wants retribution.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean she gets to torture you for it. That's not justice. You've done her wrong, and maybe there's something we can do for her to make it up to her, and that can be the end of it. But in any case, she won't even find us again, and...
Maybe I'd like to find her.
Maybe.
But at least you're on more even ground now.
I'm not just alone.
You're not?
No, I mean like actually physically
No, I
alone
know.
in the middle of the woods.
Why were you in the middle of the woods? You're supposed to be watching the... Like, you're never going to watch alone again.
Well, I mean, I was going to give these to you at some point anyway. Do you have my things?
Yes.
Yes, of course we do.
May I have my bag?
Pass it over.
Rifle through it, pull out 2 envelopes and a small parcel. Hands one to Sariel and one to Astra. We missed your birthday, so you owed something, and his is coming up soon. I didn't want you to feel left out.
You are just blindingly considerate sometimes. This is never what I expect from you.
I don't even know what to expect from me nowadays.
That's fine, you can spend some time figuring out who you want to be now.
Divergence.
That's uncomfortably accurate. I don't want to think about the fortune teller being accurate.
Astra's reading the note and holding this gift. Of 2 earrings made of pearls, and just Astra's tail just reaches out and like holds onto your wrist.
Oh, hi Astra.
Come here, you.
Shoulder, ow.
You're fine. You've been healed.
No, this is lasting damage, Astra.
I know. Shut up, let me hug you.
I'm going to scar. Is my face going to scar?
Probably.
Some people find that attractive, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Who looks very sheepishly towards Sariel, realizing she said nothing.
She's been noticeably a bit distant since you've come out with all this.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't opened what you've handed to her yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go and do a quick perimeter sweep. She'll duck out of the tiny hut.
I don't know how I can make this up to her.
I'm going to speak to her.
You don't have to do that, I should.
Well, I'm going to. And he ducks out of the tent and follows. Sariel. He sort of jogs to catch up with you. What's going through your head?
A lot.
Admittedly, I'm a little shaken too.
I mean, I know that he'd always said he had things that he'd regretted and things he wanted to atone for, but I suppose that's the first time he's really come out and said the kind of person he used to be.
I think the thing we have to hang on to is it's the kind of person he used to be. And you know as well as I do that even right up to Shadeborn, he was not really the kind of person that you in particular would have really gotten along with. Me too.
No.
But he's not like that anymore. And that's what I'm trying to hold on to.
I know. I think it's just rather jarring to hear word for word what he did used to be like, when that's where I came from. Everyone was manipulating everyone. There was always underhand means, there was always things unsaid, but just dangerous people who you wouldn't want to associate with. Just might take me some time to deal with that, you know?
I get it. You can take all the time you need.
And I know we didn't know him back then, but I hate to think that one of my closest friends used to be like that.
Well, then we can see to it that he correctly atones. I don't know what else to say because I don't know the person that I used to be either, and I can't hold things over him that he's done in the past without being a hypocrite.
I guess it's just confused a lot of things in my mind.
for us to say that Sylvette isn't justified in wanting to take her revenge and that Cassian doesn't deserve that, do I?
I think she's completely justified. I just don't think it's justified to cause someone intentional harm like that.
It's making me question a lot of what those cards that the fortune teller drew have been telling me to do. I don't know, it's just giving me a lot to think about.
I understand. For now, I just want to make sure he's gonna get through this and we can get that horrifying thing off his throat.
Mm.
And then, once the situation's done with, we can take as long as we need to
process.
Yes. But right now, our friend who we've travelled with for 4 months needs a bit of support. That's the least we can do to try and offer it.
I know. Just threw me for a moment. I'll come back in a second.
Sariel, you and Vanden, with your passive perception, are suddenly aware of the sound of footsteps coming closer. They crunch on the stones underfoot, and they're approaching from somewhere in the dark.
From where we came from?
You look out with your dark vision and turning towards the direction the group came from. You see 3 figures moving through the tree line.
Have they seen us?
They haven't seen you yet.
Okay. Reach for Vanden's hand. I need to go back.
We need to go back. Sariel and Vanden turn and start heading back to the tiny hut. Going back to the moment they left, Cassian and Astra, the 2 of you are left alone. Is there anything you're doing?
I mean, Astra's just stolen me into a hug.
Yes.
I've been tailed.
You know, we're probably not gonna take you away from all this, but you're not alone. I do think that we should go back and face your past.
Well, I kind of have to if I want this mark off my neck, Astra.
True. You're right.
Not really.
No. The person you are now and the person you were then are, to me, 2 different people. But you do need to embrace who you were so that you can say goodbye to them properly and make amends for what they did.
I used to be even more different, you know. I used to be so excited about everything. I was even kind of religious at one point.
What changed?
Time. Just an endless stretch of the same. You care about your family so much. It's not that I don't care about my parents. They're good people, Astra. My father especially. But they went through so much to even be with each other. To have the life that they have now took hundreds of years. And I just feel like I was always the epilogue of someone else's story. And I didn't want that. And the more it became apparent, the more bitter I got. I just lashed out in unhealthy ways.
But at least you come to terms with that now. And I know it's not the same for someone like me, because I know my life cycle's not anywhere near as long as yours, but the way I see it, time is precious, no matter how much you got. Spending it with people that you love, seeing new things every day. Just, no matter how long your lifespan is, Could be dead tomorrow. Why waste it?
Starting to realise that a bit more now. Travelling around with the three of you does make a difference. It's never boring for the Dawnbringers.
No, certainly
Never.
not.
Gods above.
I think that you should probably contact your family and let them know that she's safe.
I mean, I can't right now.
Not right now, but we'll find you someone that can. Even if you just write a letter.
I don't want that earful.
Parents are always going to be overbearing and give you a lecture, but mostly because they care.
Astra, you have no idea.
Probably not. What's your parents going to do though? Like, track you down and give you the earful?
Listen, I wouldn't put it past her. Do you know what terror she was on the seas?
No, I don't know anything about them because you refuse to talk about your family.
I have not refused to talk about them. People just always catch me when I'm in a mood about them. My father is a lovely man. I'd always be happy to talk about him. My mother is just difficult.
Do you take after your mother?
Do you know, it's funny. She and I are so much alike. And the reason that she lives in Meritale is because she didn't want to take over her father's business in Ospea because she was the middle of 5 and just expected to fall in line. So she said, no, I'm going to go to a different continent and start my own business. And now that I, her only child, am not interested in continuing her business, she acts surprised and offended, like she didn't see this coming when I am her son. Can you believe that?
I think she'd be surprised by the person you've become though.
Probably. Be surprised that I could probably beat her at sword fighting now. She's rusty.
I'd like to know more about your family.
Maybe we can swap stories sometime.
I'd like that.
Gives you a little elbow and sits himself up.
As you shift around, you feel yourself press against that scroll case, tucked into the back of your belt.
I reach around and pop it out. I took this from the crates. Don't tell anyone.
I won't. I'd say that's fair.
You pop it open.
What is it, precious?
And you pull out the scroll inside and unroll it. Unscroll it to find a shipping decree.
Hello?
The decree details the nature of the shipment that was inside the cart with you.
Okay.
3 barrels of black powder, one of which is to be exchanged in the town of Fires for a double-bladed axe at Fires's Smith's Guild. And then the axe and the remainder of the shipment of 15 sets of arcane armor, 30 short swords, 7 muskets, and 2 more barrels of black powder is due for Chimera Pass to one Lord Greaves. The most interesting thing about this shipping decree is it's been stamped by something abbreviated to EAG. You can make a history check if
I shall.
If you want to see what that is.
Egads. Egads! 11.
11. I would say probably not. It does look like an official stamp though.
Okay. Vanden would probably know what this means. It's,
Ooh, I don't know anything about that.
this is all...
Gold to you.
It's all Ospain to you.
As you sort of puzzle over that, Sariel and Vanden sort of quite urgently duck back into the tiny hut.
They found us.
Hides the scroll.
What was that?
The shipment they were taking, I'll show it to you later.
Right. I've got up with us.
Then let's prepare and face them.
They can't get into the hut, can they?
No.
So...
Okay, if they're hostile...
And then we stay in the hut.
No, I can't really leave the hut without dropping anyway, so...
You stay inside and...
At the moment, if they seem like they're going to be hostile, you step back in here too.
Yes. We can wait till the morning and then we should be able to teleport again with the rain.
Okay. It's fine. They want me alive.
Yes.
I'm fairly sure.
The three of you, if Sariel is coming out again too, she's welcome to stay inside.
She'll come out.
Okay. The three of you just duck out or through the wall of the tiny hut. Outside, and before long, the sound of footsteps and ruffling marks the approach of Sylvette Marion with Ingrid and the tall, armoured man who you roughly heard was called Mikhail.
Okay. As soon as I see Ingrid, I'm just gonna smile and wave at her. She seems nice.
She gives you a sort of like, As they approach, Sylvette looks at you and raises an eyebrow. Hello, Nero Monti. Or should I say, Montagne, Morelli. It seems to change depending on the story I hear from the people that you've messed with in the past.
Well, yes. Lots of code names.
But the outcome's always the same, You know, I searched for you all over Miritel after you ruined me. Met the loveliest couple who'd come across you before. Just married they were, until Nero Monti shows up at their celebration after the event and just spoils it all. Drives a wedge between them, spreads some lies, ends their marriage. Do you remember them, Tyrion? Do you enjoy ruining people's marriages?
What do you want, Sylvette?
I don't know who you are, but I'm not done here, okay? I don't have a problem with you. There's more to it, isn't there?
Yes.
More than just what you do to people's marriages. You remember that singer that you ruined out of the business?
Isabella.
I didn't actually get her name myself, probably because she took your words to heart. I hear that she cut out her own tongue.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. So she'd never sing again. Went mad with it. But, you know what? I think I lost my temper a little bit there. I shouldn't stoop as low as you, and I want to apologize for having my men rough you up. So, you probably realized by now that little mark around your neck means you can't get that far away from me.
What can I do to make this up to you?
I was hoping you would ask that. Considering you ruined my life with a bunch of lies and rumors, the most serious of which were completely untrue. You see Ingrid sort of reach out and squeeze her arm, and she like takes a breath. I've never worked with smugglers once in my life. And that got me ostracized back home in Ferguson. And so I was thinking that you owe me big time. And perhaps you could repay me.
What would you ask of me?
I want you to make amends by restoring what you destroyed. My reputation.
You have some sort of title to reclaim, or is it just the good word?
I want status and money. Do you know how much that contract was worth that your mother kicked me out of?
Was it something obscene, like 10,000 gold?
10,000 gold. And that money wasn't meant for me. It was meant for the Merchants Guild. I still owe them. Anyway, I do have a plan. An opportunity has come about, so I only thought of it after realizing the strength of your little group here. after they sprung you out, there has been a quest set out in Fergus.
A quest.
Don't look so mockingly. The current Lake Lord of Fergus is in an absolute state, isn't going to live that long. And as it so happens, to replace him, a quest has been laid out. Somebody who can do something for the town, prove themselves, and get past the title.
And that's you.
If you undertake this in my honor, we'll consider your debt paid, and you can be on your merry way. We'll take off tomorrow. If you decide not to, I just want you to know that that thing's just gonna burn. The further and further you get from me, it's just gonna start crisping up, and that's gonna leave a nasty, ugly scar. Do we have a deal?
Of course.
She gives you her hand, but she doesn't shake it.
He will drop to one knee. And does she have any rings or anything?
She's wearing a ring, yeah.
Okay, so a ring. And he will stay on the floor with his head bowed.
Oh, I like him like this. Okay. Great, it's settled. We will travel with you.
I'm sorry, with us?
Yeah. I don't want you getting too far away from me and starting to burn, do I?
Right, of course.
Are you going to introduce me to your friends?
This is, Sariel of Sayanin.
Absolutely charmed.
Looks at Vanden for approval of what name to use. Will telepathically be like, Renard, or...
So that sees you looking at him, looks him up and down, and you just see a little in her face.
Oh no.
You already know then.
I won't bring it up.
Thank you. Inside we have Vanden Astra.
Pokes head out of tiny hut.
A pleasure, Vanden Astra.
And to you.
Well, I'm sure you've all been told by now, but I'm Sylvette Marion. This is Ingrid, and this is my lovely paladin, Mikhail. He's just like, He's like really cropped, short, dark hair. He's sort of greying stubble, broad shoulders, and he looks a little rough, but there's definitely something kind of charming and friendly about him, up close. We'll make our camp right here.
Sure. The more the merrier.
How far is it to Fergus?
Probably just a morning more sail.
Right then.
Cool, we can get to know each other.
That would be lovely. Okay. Tyrion, you're dismissed.
Stand up. Just quietly walk into the tiny hut. Sit down.
Vanden will come into it and just like,
Don't worry, they can't hear us in here. They can't get in either. They're not approved.
Bounce at Astra.
Stay out!
Stop!
Stay back, slut.
they definitely can't hear us.
No.
Do you think we can trust her?
I mean, probably not. But
Her anger is justified, but her actions against you aren't.
I don't agree with the injury, but I do agree with the reparations. I'm just not sure how I feel about putting someone like that in charge of one of the lake towns.
from my understanding, most of the Lake Lords are like that anyway.
Backstabbing bastards, yes.
All backstabbing bastards, so who knows, maybe she'll be dead within a month.
Well, that's not good in the first place, right?
No, but I mean...
It is a culture of the Shaiste, unfortunately.
It makes little difference in the scheme of things.
You know, we found that we've been on a contract, an assassination between the...
Yes.
Yeah, two families of the Shaiste. That's
Lake Lords.
standard fare for them.
Ish.
On the other hand, if we perform this quest with flying colors, maybe we have an ally.
In any case, she knows who I am, so that's
Concerning.
disastrous if we get on her bad side.
So let's not get on her bad side.
Okay.
I feel like if we do, I don't have to be far away from her for her to burn me.
We won't let that happen.
Do you... reaches around to the scroll and unravels it again. Do you recognize the name on this from Chimera Pass?
I don't recognise the name, but that is the seal of the Eisenstark Arms Guild. It's
Is this official business then?
for Farrowstead, yeah.
Okay.
Chimera Pass is up near Marlborough, isn't it?
Yes. Doing some shipments then?
That's on official business.
I don't know. This was... the cart I was in had all of these weapons and the gunpowder and the armor.
I don't suppose you saw what happened to the ship you were on.
No.
Bottle.
Oh. So she never worked with smugglers before, but she does now.
Maybe this whole shipment is stolen.
And they took the paperwork to boot.
Great, working with smugglers. Delightful. Fine.
Let's try and get on a good side, see what information we can find out.
I'm
sorry to put all of you in this mess.
Well, we're in it now, so we're just going to have to deal with it.
I like it to not. You've got us no matter what, so no apologising, we're already there.
None of the apologies are appreciated.
Not to me then. Not yet.
Well, I think you're apologising for 1,000 things.
Do we just try and sleep? Or do we go out there and socialise?
Mingle. Ingrid, that was the nice one. She gave me some food. Uncuffed me.
Good to know.
Are they still out there, or have they gone?
Yeah, they're setting up their tents now.
Okay.
Here.
They can't see in, but we can see them.
No,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, just watching them just sort of like setting up 2 tents outside, starting a campfire of their own.
Head out. So where's the rest of your, like, you know, party? There was loads of you earlier.
Ingrid turns around and is like, oh, they're still back at our other camp after... We're assuming it was one of you who made the big dragon? Because it just poof out of the sky.
A dragon went poof.
She looks really concerned.
Just poke my head out, wave. That was me.
It was really impressive.
Thank you.
You see Sylvette look over her shoulder towards this conversation like, they're up there protecting our... our goods and supplies.
Right, I would step out, but I can't because otherwise this drops, so...
Oh.
So what is it you're transporting then?
She kind of looks over at Sylvette, who's just turned, looked at this conversation and is like, waves a hand like, yeah, whatever, goes into the tent that she's just set up. Weapons and armour, enchanted armour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a big and fairly important contract for Sylvette, so we're just, you know, trying to make sure everything goes smoothly.
I can imagine. I'm Astra, by the way, Verdant Astra.
Ingrid Fisher.
Goes back into the bubble.
She kind of gives a glance back towards the tent as well and lowers her voice a bit, kind of like, oh, Sylvette is out of earshot. I just want you all to know that I'm really sorry on her behalf for his current state. she's been doing better recently, controlling her temper, but I think she really lost it when it came to this.
This thing that she's asked us to do for her, do you think she'd be a good fit for it?
Sylvette is... She's been through hard times, not just in the last few years, but in the past as well, and she has always just been tenacious, and she's built herself up from nothing twice now. I think she struggles to get the respect she deserves, but she definitely deserves it. I know you haven't had the best meeting with her.
Considering she did stab my friend.
But considering everything he did...
I'm not saying he's an innocent party, but he was also rather incapacitated when she cut his face and stabbed him.
Oh, I'm not excusing it.
Okay.
Trust me. I'm just saying that you have met her at her worst.
And so, should somebody who acts rather brashly at their worst be allowed to be in charge of a town of people?
I'm guessing you don't know very much about the lake.
I don't. But does that matter? When I'm asking, would she do well there, and would she do well for the people?
I think so.
Okay. Do I believe her?
Roll an insight check.
Fuck yeah, I do. Up to 4. So, the insight 6.
Her expression is very honest.
Great. Fucking phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Well, can you tell me about where we're going?
But for us,
I've never been anywhere like this.
It's got to be one of the prettiest towns on the Shaiste. If this is your first experience of the area, then you're in for a treat.
Oh.
It's colourful and full of plants and lots of farms. It's got the most beautiful forest, actually.
Doki doki.
And I don't know what to tell you. It's a trade town.
Mm-hmm.
Agriculture goes out, weapons come in. They have a lot of breweries.
Right.
They do have the most amazing fondue restaurant.
Oh my god. Fondue. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, it's like hot melted cheese and bread.
Oh my god. 6 back in. Can we please go get fondue?
What? Oh, you will be able to hear this from...
Yeah. Sure.
Come on, let's go get fondue.
You're an adult, Astra. You can do whatever you want.
I'm very much looking forward to this place.
And I think we're just a couple of days from the cow parade.
I'm sorry, the what?
The cow parade. You know how like every place has like a weird kooky thing that they do? It's some sort of like strange tradition.
I didn't, but go on.
Well, Fergus has a cow parade. They're very, very proud of their cows. And I'm not from there. This was a complete surprise the first time I saw it. But they are going to dress the cows up in costumes and parade them through the town.
I would just like to say thank you, because having the context of knowing that's coming is going to make it a lot easier to accept seeing cows dressed up in streets.
You hear back from the tent behind her. Ingrid! Coming! I will probably see you in the morning.
Right, sleep well.
It's nice to meet you, Vanden Astra.
You too.
And she will disappear back towards the tent.
Sink back in. So,
making friends?
Well, finding out about where we're going and what she thinks of what we need to do. Did you hear all of it?
Yeah, it sounds like...
More or less.
It sounds like from what she was saying that the shipping manifesto that you found is genuine. That doesn't make sense with the I mean, unless this is just something that people can buy, but if she's...
I mean, we've got one. Maybe they
found one?
We found it.
We can try find out.
It'd probably be worth knowing.
Yeah.
Just say that we've seen something similar elsewhere.
We're gonna have to...
Give back the scroll somehow.
I was thinking we're gonna have to get our boat out in front of them tomorrow at some point.
It looks different
Also
than theirs
true.
anyway, so...
No, I don't mean they think we've stolen their one. I just mean they're gonna know that we have that kind of ship. Unless we can sneak out and get it out.
Someone gets it over.
We can do that.
This is... I'm gonna go to bed.
Sure.
I'll keep watching.
Sure.
I can head out early if you want, if I take second watch.
Well, if you leave the bubble, we'll be out of it.
True.
It's fine, I can wake up and take second watch and sneak out with the boat. Good night.
Night.
Van's just gonna go to one side of the tiny hut and climb into his bedroll and face away.
Cassian goes into a corner, pulls out a scrap of fabric, pulls out a needle and thread, starts embroidering.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything for the evening, or are you just gonna bed down?
Sariel will keep a watch even though we're in the bubble, but it's just like constant vigilance right now. And we'll, as she's doing that, just look through her new tarot cards that Astra got her.
Nice. You flip through them. You definitely feel, you don't know whether it's just a personal sensation or like an arcane draw to them, but you definitely feel a connection with them, looking through all of them. Maybe pausing a moment over the rocked card and then flicking further through. Make a perception check.
$18.
18. Okay. There's nothing threatening that happens during the night. You see a couple of night birds land on the big log above where you're camping. You see Mikhail, the tall man in armour, take the first watch on their camp, sit outside by the fire, sort of looks over in your direction but obviously can't see anything. Looks back out, sits there boredly, yawns a lot. And then just before your watch is done, he swaps out with Silvat, who comes and sits outside by the fire, sort of pokes it with a stick. And you see her sit there on the ground and pull her knees up and like wrap her arms around them. She looks younger now, with her hair let down and just sort of all hanging about her face. And she looks quite saddened and stressed. Like she's definitely in some sort of emotional turmoil right now.
Cool. Sarah will watch that for a bit, and when her turn is up, go and just shake Vanden to wake him.
Get some good rest. Sariel. Can I hug you?
Yeah.
He's just going to pull you against his chest.
She'll lean into him.
One of us said the other day, something always finds us.
Every day.
Well, at least we have a cow parade to look forward to.
That's something I never thought I'd see.
Sleep well.
See you in the morning.
And you'll go and take the watches down.
Yeah.
And then...
I was just going to... Cassian is not sleeping, he's just lying on his side pretending to sleep, embroidering.
Okay.
Just facing away from everyone.
Is he not going to sleep at all?
Well, he only needs 4 hours of meditation to get a long rest, so at some point late in the night he will just zen out, but he's not sleeping.
Okay. Vanden just sits, sort of leaning against the wall of the rock where the tiny hut kind of rests against it. And probably an hour before it's time for everyone to get up, we'll just sneak out. Cassian, if you're just awake enough to hear what's going on, you'll hear Sylvette like quietly question where he's going to, and him being like, "I'm going to take a leak," walking off, and he disappears off down to the shoreline, where he will get the boat out quietly.
Sit up, knowing that we'll be on the move soon.
Yeah,
Just the boat like coalescing in the sky and him just shush.
oh my god, shush!
Do it quieter.
The morning comes around, the sun peeks in to this like ravine that you're in, and in through the roof of the tiny hut.
So that's like, he went for a leak, but he is definitely having a number 2. That's a wild.
And you hear sounds of their camp getting up as you are roused for the morning.
Gather all of our stuff together.
Drop the hut.
Morning!
Morning.
See, Ingrid is just like, her hair is sticking up like a bird's nest. Before anyone has emerged from the tiny hut, Sylvette is looking perfect again. Like, makeup is touched up, hair is back in the high ponytail, ruby earrings are back in her ears.
Ashla's going to wear the new earrings. Which you have described very sweetly, of just a simple stud going through each ear, and from them hang 3 golden chains, 2 fairly short ending with what looks to be golden leaves, and the third slightly longer chain holding the pearl.
Oh,
it makes me very happy.
That's so soft.
He will replace those leaves with better ones, not ones that he hammered himself.
Very good. Let's get you looking a bit more shipshape, Cassian.
Excuse me?
Prestidigitation, all the blood out of your outfit for you.
Or sort of raises up out of the cloth, just leaving this hole where the knife went in.
He just has several flowers of embroidery on a piece of fabric.
Right, we should get going.
Who has a mirror? I have a mirror.
Are you right?
Just wants to look at himself.
You can see that with the magical healing, like the swelling's gone down around your eye, but there's still a deep bruise, and there's still this deep cut in one side of your jaw, and you can see now this like throbbing red mark around your throat.
We can work with this. And he's just gonna pull out some makeup and do his eyes and try and look a little bit more alive.
You hear footsteps on the gravel, like on the stones, and Vanden comes back from the shore. Our ship is ready to go.
Great.
So we're like, great. Well, then we should get to it.
Yes, you leading the way?
Then she will head down towards the shoreline. The 4 of you and 3 of them make your way down to the Lyrebird, where it floats just sort of a little way out into the water, not quite reachable from dry land. You will see Ingrid sort of at the water, and Mikhail just pick her up. He just puts her like up on his shoulder and carries her over to the boat, and she's like, you don't have to, and deposits her on the deck and walks back towards the shore, and Sylvette's like, no. And we'll just wade into the water and hop onto the boat herself. It's like, suit yourself.
We'll wade in the water to get to the lower bed.
Yeah.
As soon as off the onto the Lyrebird, it's like, prestidigitation, no water, thank you.
Vanden starts getting the sails ready, and without really making much of a fuss of it, Mikhail starts helping. They make themselves useful.
Great.
You see that Ingrid just sort of takes a seat and is like, I am not good at this.
I'll take a seat next to her. Me neither.
Cassian asks how he can help.
Then we'll send you up to the front of the boat to do something with ropes. And in a matter of minutes, between the group, you've got the Lyrebird sort of just slowly picking up the wind and drifting away from the shore again, out onto the open waters of the Shaiste.
What about the rest of your stuff?
Oh, the other men will bring that.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
What boat?
We had it... You must have simply not seen it. We had it docked a little further down. We tried to try and hide it.
Okay. Detect the boats.
Okay, you're just detecting surface level thoughts.
At the moment, yes.
Her surface level thoughts are simply along the lines of like, there's no way they saw, right? No, of course they wouldn't see. And they wouldn't understand anyway.
Phew.
I mean, I don't know, it's just... I guess the light was playing good tricks on my eyes. I thought we'd seen it and then we didn't. Detect thoughts.
Her thoughts now are like, were they watching us for long? Oh, I really don't like that. I thought we were better equipped to guard against people than this.
Womp.
Not us, fam.
And then her thoughts trail off, sort of into, like, if we're not good enough to defend ourselves, how the hell are we going to get to the other side of the Shaiste without being stopped by smugglers?
Okay, thank you. That's the piece of information I would like.
Put that away for later.
Delicious.
So, with the three of them on your ship, the Lyra bird heads back out into the Shaiste. Sylvette goes and leans, like, against the stern, sort of behind Vanden to point him in a vague direction, but for the most part, at the moment, it's just like, follow the curve of the land northwest. It's only going to take a couple of hours. Is anyone doing anything while you sail? Talking to each other, talking to anyone here?
Just helping out.
Okay.
Best possible.
Trying to be a good boy.
At some point, if like the Vanden is alone, I will just like walk close and just. They're not smugglers. They were worried about if they when I was pressing questions earlier. They're worried about potentially getting smugglers attacking them. So.
Good to know. If no one else is asking, Vanden will turn to Sylvette and be like, so is there any more details you can give us on this quest?
Probably important.
She's like, thought you'd never ask. Well, our current Lake Lord, von Kaiberg, he has been unwell for quite some time, and a couple of weeks ago, he fell into a coma. He's been like that, with the doctor saying that there's not much chance of him getting better, which has left the town kind of scrabbling to figure out who to put in charge next. Because a Shaiste town without somebody in charge is just ripe for the picking. For a few weeks, his assistant, Landenberg, has been holding up the fort as such, but...
Love that name.
The next town over, run by Lord DuPont, DuPont just comes out of nowhere and decrees that von Kaiberg left him a living will, and he's the one to execute it. So...
Coming up, hearing this conversation, I'm sorry, you're implying that someone's trying to seize control of 2 towns on the lake.
Oh, well, as far as I know, DuPont is going to try and carry out the quest himself, yes.
Can anybody carry out this quest?
Anybody, yeah.
And does that not throw off the whole balance that the lords have going on?
Well, that's what I said when I heard about it, because if one Lake Lord has 2 towns, I mean, say there's 13 towns, like, constituencies on the Shaiste, and each of them has its own lord, and they're not nobles, they're just, like, big names in trade who, over the centuries, have controlled areas, like lords of the land. And yeah, I said that if one person has control of 2 places at once, that's...
Sets a precedent for everyone else to start
warring with each other, yeah. So, let's say I don't want to put DuPont in charge. Well, I mean, I want it, but...
Do you have any other competitors that you're worried about? We need to know the enemy, right?
This has been going on for a little while, and I'll tell you in a second what the quest is. But there's a few sort of standout people who I think pose a threat in terms of taking the title. There's the current vice head of Ferris's Merchant Guild, Jean-Luc Weiss. He's well, he's a bit of a wet towel, if you ask me, but I have to regretfully admit that he really knows his stuff. These are trade towns, you know, putting someone who is big in trade at the top. It's not a bad shout, but he's been acting like he's entitled to this position since the quest was announced. Like he believes he should just be put in power without having to do anything for it. There's Captain Byrne. He's the captain of the local rangers. And I should explain this quest. There's a fortress, and we'll see it before long before we reach the town. It's right on the edge of the lake. It used to belong to the Lake Lord like maybe 500 years ago. Fell into disuse and has been taken over by... Do you know about the River Runners?
A little bit.
They're like the biggest smuggling outfit on the Shaiste. And they're vicious. I mean, like, they might as well be pirates. They just tear ships apart, steal their cargo. Anyway, it's been taken over by a whole group of them. And von Kyberg hasn't been able to do anything about it for years. So, as captain of the Rangers, Byrne is like, well, I've been the one holding them at bay for a long time. I should be the one who's stopping them.
But you haven't gotten rid of them, Captain Byrne.
Well, exactly.
Is that the quest then, to clear out the river runners?
Exactly. Take back the fortress for the town of Ferres.
Dead or alive. Doesn't matter.
Take back the fortress, that's all they said. You can run them out of town if you want to. The problem is this thing is, like, fairly impenetrable. It's an old war fortress.
We're pretty capable between the four of us.
That's what I figured when I saw you, well, sprung tearing out. Then there's Landenberg himself. Von Kyberg's assistant. He's been running the town for the past couple of weeks, and he's been a good assistant to Von Kyberg for like 30 years. So, people like him, but... well, if I'm honest, he would do a pretty good job if I didn't want the title for myself, but that's not the game here, is it? And finally, there's DuPont. He's a bit arrogant. I think it's ridiculous of him to rock up in town with this will, say that the will needs to be some sort of quest to take over the town, and then say that he's going to undertake it himself. To be honest, I don't even know if I believe him to that effect. But he's a pretty powerful guy, and he runs his own town.
Telepathically to Astra, can you ask her what she would do with the town? I don't want it to sound so standoffish coming from me.
What would be your plan to do as a Lake Lord of the town?
Well, Ferres has this singular resource that hasn't been found anywhere else in the Shaiste. It's a mineral that's found in the river. And for years, von Kyberg has been preventing any trade of it.
What's that?
I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think we could be one of the richest towns in the area if we did.
Is it arcane of some description, or just precious?
It's not arcane,
just
but
rare.
I think, well, as I understand it, it can be used as an arcane component, especially in weaponry.
Right, okay.
So I would immediately open up trade of that, and the town would prosper.
Well, I suppose if you became the Lake Lord of this place, you'd find out exactly what it is and what it did, and maybe you wouldn't. Like, use it to trade with other people. What if it's dangerous? What if that's the reason that no one is trying to trade it right now?
Maybe.
I mean, would you trade something if you found out it was dangerous?
Well, not with people who would use it to do bad things, but there's plenty of dangerous components that get traded anyway, with the right people. I just think it's foolish for a trade town to restrict the trade on something and keep it to themselves and not really use it for anything.
If Cassian can do it with the black powder and Farrelstad, Arrakis can do it with their resources.
Why not us? Yeah, exactly.
of these competitors for the role of the Lake Lord, are they taking on this challenge themselves, or do they have champions that they're enrolling?
I believe there's various answers to that. I mean, Captain Byrne is just taking his company of rangers and trying to infiltrate the fort once and for all. DuPont's probably picking someone to do it for him. I mean, he's a sort of stout, larger man. He doesn't look like the type to be able to swing a sword effectively.
It's so strange to me that the person that's going to be taking over a town isn't just the person that's been trained up for it, or...
Politics don't work like that in the Shaiste. I know it works like that in a lot of places, but sort of glances at Vanden. Why should the person who gets to take over a town be a birthright or selected, purely from a noble line?
Sometimes it's to do with their training, though, isn't it? They know how things work.
To what effect? In that case, that would make Vice at the head of the Merchants Guild the best person for the town. But anyone could be the head of the Merchants Guild, not training up to be the next Lake Lord.
Arguably, the governor of Shade One was training Lothmuir to take over. He wasn't the right choice.
True.
It's the person, in my opinion, who wants to do the best thing for a place.
Best for the people.
Yeah.
Do you think you want best for the people?
I think I'd be great in charge of Fereth, but this isn't really about what I think about myself, is it? This is about clearing Cassian's debt.
Oh, thank you for using my name.
That's the thing. If we don't manage to fulfill what you're asking, what then? Say someone bests us.
Then we'll see when we come to it. I'm not an unreasonable person. If you do everything in your power and you still don't achieve this, we'll reconsider. Take it back to the drawing board.
Well, thank you for that, at least.
Very generous.
She will tack on to the end of her explanation of the people who are sort of in the running, the only realistic people who might beat this quest, that there's no rule saying just one person has to be in charge of a town on the Shaiste. Like, if that looks like a viable option, she's open to it. She's just in it for a piece of the power to help control this town and make the most of it.
Okay.
So, the fortress, the River Runners, they're controlled by a man named Ulfren. He's terrifying. You would know him if you saw him there. Huge guy, I think, coming up on 7 foot.
Oh.
Scars all over his face, bald head. People are scared of him in the town. And a few local ships have sunk or disappeared. People blame the River Runners. If this quest is a genuine thing or not, it's not going to be a bad thing to see them gone.
No.
Do you know how many people he has working within the fortress?
Personally, no idea. I spend most of my time out on the water, running back and forth between Barrelstadt and wherever. But I'm sure if you ask some of the people around the town, other people might have more information.
Okay. Lots to learn. Approaches to consider. Sneak in or full frontal attack.
The sooner we can get in there, the better.
Yeah.
And just to confirm, like, the River Runners is the same, like, group of people that Turquoise was working with?
You don't know.
With, like, the ships that came out of bottles, or not?
You don't know what they were called.
Right, okay, cool.
Yeah, like, you know that ship that Sylvet had is the same ship that you found in the rock. But you know only that the River Runners are smugglers in the Shaiste.
Okay.
Yeah. And Turquoise was dealing in weapons in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Could be related, might not be at all.
Cool.
You sail on. As you do, the waters of the Shaiste are absolutely stunning in the daylight. Sunlight dapples through the leaves on the trees as the ship sort of sails along close to the shore, sending beams of brilliant golden light dancing over the water and sparkling amidst the ripples. You sail by tall cliff faces dusted with the soft branches of fir trees, their higher peaks capped with the year's first glimpses of snow in the region you can see off in the distance. As you sail, a colony of seals joins you on course for a while.
Blessed!
Their smooth, streamlined bodies and whiskered muzzles crest out of the water, leaping mirthfully to play alongside you, enjoying the bubbles that stream behind the boat. They chatter comically amongst themselves, fighting to get to the front of the boat, as though in a race. In some places, here near the shore, the water is so crisp and so clear that you can see right to the bottom of it. A myriad of rocks and stones littering the waterbed, aquatic plant life swaying lazily with the current. And despite everything, this strange quest, being on this ship with Sylvette and Cassian, the state of you, it's exhilarating to be somewhere where the air is so clean, not out on the open ocean for once. It almost makes you lightheaded to be breathing air so brisk and refreshing, surrounded by this beautiful autumnal blanket of nature. After another hour of sailing in the morning, you catch your first glimpse of the large, imposing stronghold fortress. It's built of limestone, with several round flanking towers and a tall square keep in the middle. The outer wall, facing the water, is a princely facade of decorative windows, almost deceptive compared to the glimpses of defensive arrow slits and loopholes you can see along the battlements at the back. It sits on a rocky outcrop of land, which serves as both natural protection for the building and an obvious strategic advantage to anyone approaching from the water or the land itself. And the water seems to surround it all the way around. You can see a wooden bridge, almost like this sort of stone spit is separate from the mainland itself, and you have to cross this bridge to get onto it. Vanden sort of peers over it. It's like, I assume that's the place. And Mikhail's like, mm-hmm. Intimidating, right?
How did they get hold of it?
To be honest, I got not a clue.
Snuck up when no one else was using it, I suppose.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it wasn't being used for defense before. So, crept inside, claimed it, put up their own defenses. Do we want to take a closer look? I mean, they're not going to fire at us just sailing past.
Exactly. See if there's any good entry points.
We'll pull in the ropes, turn the rudder and steer the boat as close as we can get. And you realise as it comes close, the water around the fortress is really deep. Ooh. So it's not like the boat would run aground before we get to it. The wall facing the lake is flat all the way up to the sloping roof, some 3 stories of windows high. Along the top walls you can see telltale signs of ballista and machicolations for dropping rocks and hot oil.
Ooh, no.
And the base of the castle is surrounded by steep banks of earth, with stones piled loosely up that would make it very, very hard to climb up to the walls directly. From this distance, it's impossible to see how many occupants there are, like out in the open, but you do catch glimpses of movement on the battlement walls as people patrol them. The ship sails past, gliding along the water surface, barely taken note of by anyone in the fortress. You keep sailing, and by water the docks of Ferguson are only a further 40 minutes. It's still fairly early morning when you arrive. And finally, you see Ferguson. You approach the sunny township by water, a hideaway town on the southern shores of the Shaiste, built on flat land, on first appearing quite small. As you get closer, you can see that it actually sprawls out far further than you first thought. Some buildings dipping into the blanket of bright autumnal forest, others spread out onto ripe farmland cut between the trees, marked with windmills and fields of fluffy brown and white cows. On the shore, long pontoons and mismatched shacks and dozens of warehouses make up the multiple fishing community buildings on the docks. You're instantly taken with the town's old-world Baroque charm and Gothic half-timbered buildings, which flank the shores of the Crystal Lake waters and set against a backdrop of regal snow-capped mountains. The Lyrebird sails up to one of these pontoons.
Have we seen their ship ahead of us at any point? during this?
I would say you've probably seen it behind you, because granted it
us.
was about a quarter mile back.
Okay. At whatever point it was spotted, Cassian will sneak up to Astra, very surreptitiously hand him the scroll with the contract and be like, could you get Bramble to fly back to the other ship invisibly and just tuck that in the cart, please?
I can do that.
They never have to know.
How would they know?
How would they know?
No one's gonna know.
How would they know?
Bramble will turn invisible and do this.
Yeah, that's
Bramble do this.
considering everyone is watching forwards, Bramble can just off he goes, and he's disappeared within moments, sort of blending in with the lake, this scroll case as it flies off. I would say you can fly up to it and take an aim, roll an attack for just to see if you can get it into the cart or if it's just gonna fall onto the bottom of the boat. Nope.
Oh, baby.
Attack, not a dex.
It can be dex.
7.
Bramble flies up to the cart and tries to subtly smush it through the bars of the cart. It just thump falls onto the bottom of the boat. But Bramble's invisible.
At least it's on the boat.
On the boat.
Yeah.
Oh god.
The chickens did it.
Damn those chickens.
Those damn chickens.
Those damn chickens.
You can try again, Mum. It's
Roll another dex check.
He's small and invisible and he wants this.
He was told to do a good job.
Yes, and he will. 23.
Okay. Bramble will see one of the sailors
Ooh, ghost scroll.
but doesn't seem to have any comprehension of what's happening and therefore is just really, really freaked out. He goes to the cart as soon as Bramble's done it, goes inside, grabs it what?
Make a DC 11 wisdom saving throw.
No! Bramble! 13.
Okay, it makes it. He just gets a really strange, sweet smell in his face. Then a Bramble will return.
He just takes the scroll case and puts it back in the crate and is like, what's happening? I'm smelling sweet things.
So when you smell toast.
I was going to say crate.
Oh god, I'm having a stroke.
Got vigilance, I'm having a stroke.
And Bramble returns to the Lyra bird invisibly hey.
Mischief.
He does like mischief. Comes up on Cassian's shoulder.
Not my shoulder.
The other one! You have 2 shoulders!
I'm wounded.
The Lyra bird sails up to one of the pontoons and makes port here along the dock. A couple of human dock hands race to help you tie her up. They're dressed in bright and colourful woolen tunics and surcoats in blues and reds. The fabric's simple, but each garment detailed with floral embroidery, practical against the cold chill of autumn, but very, very decorative. And they race onto the ship, start grabbing ropes, helping you tie the Lyra bird up. The group of you disembark onto the pontoon, looking up at this bright and colourful Baroque town. Seagulls crying overhead, and people milling around in more colourful outfits. And think about the task ahead of you. And I think that's where we'll end tonight.
Boy!
Where are the cows?
Well, I told you can see them in the fields.
Fluffy cows.
Fluffy cat.
Not wearing costumes yet.
They have fluff.
I want to see them in
Fluffy
costumes.
cows. Pet the cows.
Well, you have to be here 2 days then.
I will.
Astra will be in for rest for 2 days.
I mean, we don't know how long this is going to take.
It's true. I expect detailed descriptions of every cow that passes me by.
Welcome to Ferres. We have cows.
And fondue.
And fondue.
We have fondue.
Do you do fondue?
Fondue?
Yes.
Astra is allowed to have fondue. Thank you for DMing.
Thank you for DMing. Welcome back to DM Seat.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much for playing.
Thank you, Dum.
And thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week for part 2 of A Merchant's Revenge. But until then, we're nyxrising and we love you. Bye-bye. Bye.
licky.
Licky licky.
What did you say?
Licky licky.
Hello, darlings, it's Sylvette. Thank you for joining me tonight as I catch up with my good friend Cassian. The Dawnbringers will return next week to repay his debt. If you want to support the party's endeavors, you can do so at patreon.com/nyxrising, or grab yourself some merch on Teespring. And special thank yous, as always, to our executive producers, Emily Hogarth, Jameson M, Lissa, Katelyn Ferguson, Alexandra Johnson, Liam Moran, Mason Scott, Meghan Charles, Benedict Allen, Adira A, Katie B, and J. Russo. Until next time, try not to lose your head, and we'll see you on Wednesday.